have stuff? We have stuff? We have stuff. Well then, greetings indeed to everyone in them chats today for a rather semi-special stream, essentially. Basically, just me and the guys and so on and so forth are gathering up for on the fleet carrier quote-unquote reveal stream that developers are going to do. And actually, might as well put that on the screen. Well, once that's out, here we go, and that should, there we go, that's gonna be the screen and all this. Of course, I'm gonna full screen because you can't do it right now, so it's gonna take a little while until we get to it. So, while we are waiting for it, me, Scorpius, Exigius, the Gluttony Fang, and Pilot, we're gonna just, babble on for a little while about the fleet carriers, essentially, and once the time comes for the shitfest to start, well, hey, it's gonna be great, won't it? So yeah, stay tuned for fun times. And of course, I think, let's see, Scorpius and Exigius are streaming right now, so there's that. I'm not sure if Pilot was actually streaming, Gluttony Fang either, but yeah, so there you go. Right. Well, yeah, basically it's gonna be in a while, so don't worry. Right. Actually, might as well rejoin the fuckers. Oh, you don't see the thing. Now you should see everyone in the room and people that speak. Aha, technology. So let's see what we got.
During it, tag me or us in there if you can. Oh, Pilot, you said nasty echo. Where are you getting the echo?
No, it was only in the beginning for first.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, if you've got questions, and TheYamiks has joined us.
Yes.
Are we live on your channel as well, YamiKs?
Yes. Hello to horse beating, posse. Oh wait, no, posse was like 3 people or something. Well, regardless, never mind. Carry on.
Well, hello everyone on YamiKs' channel as well. And Scorpius is going to join us here in a second. He's doing a little intro on his channel as well. So we are going to be, I just picked a pretty location. That's the Pilot's Anaconda in front of me. Just picked up a little bit, a little location for us to be while we were checking. Oh, and I heard YamiKs is a little quiet. Let me turn YamiKs up.
Me? Test 1 2, test 1 2.
There
Voice check.
I think you just weren't.
Compression.
I think you just weren't right at your. If all of the Discord voices are a little low during, guys, I'll be watching comments a little bit. So just let me know. I can adjust that as we go. And with YamiKs' loud test just then, you guys confirmed for me that he's good. Apparently Squatch thinks YamiKs is too cute. You got some fans, YamiKs.
Usually people call me basically a massive cunt, and my voice sucks and all that stuff. So thank you for being at least nice for once. So I appreciate that one comment, and that'll get me through the day. So really appreciate it.
Some people just want to watch the world burn. So
Well, I mean, that's the secondary option. I mean, I just recently, actually before the stream, I did play Doom Eternal, so yeah.
Oh man, I gotta say, I don't know about you guys, but I'm fucking loving Doom Eternal.
It has its issues. The thing is, I do prefer 2016 more. Mostly because of the color, mostly because of the color scheme, but the pace of Doom Eternal fucking gloriously quick. Like everything is ramped up.
I haven't played it much yet. I've only got about 4 or 5 hours into it. I have to admit, and sadly,
you should at least understand basically what the pace of the game is.
Oh, sure.
So it definitely is faster, and it's actually the funny thing is you can follow it through. I don't know about you, but I just play and I'm like, oh, holy fuck, everything's just going so quickly, and yet I can still follow it through. Because usually in FPS is when action is happening and blah blah blah. It's kind of hard to keep on. So
sure. And I've only gotten to play like 3 hours of Half-Life Alyx. I just haven't had time to get back to it. And oh my god, is it so?
I finished
good.
it. Man, I
Okay,
finished it.
absolutely
it
no
was,
spoilers. No
No
spoilers.
spoilers.
I don't
No
even want
spoilers.
to know what you thought. I don't even know. I'm just so fucking floored by it
all
so
I can
far,
say is
right?
that when it released, I streamed it, got nauseated, whatnot else, then stopped for a little bit, then continued
Okay.
off stream, and basically brute forced my way through. 13 hours took me, the whole thing on hard.
Oh, really? You did it like literally just straight through it all at once?
Yeah, no, actually no, not the straight through, but it was that evening. A couple of hours, then next day, the whole day, and finished up on the third day. So, but yeah, I got used to essentially the whole nauseating stuff. So yeah,
You know what? I'm gonna go the other way with this. I haven't been playing Doom. I haven't been playing Half-Life because I don't care about either of those. But
Heretic.
I did I did play Heretic, but they haven't made a sequel or a modern version, so
Old school Heretic was great.
Right? I've been playing Star Sector, which
yeah, you mentioned that.
It's actually really good. It's old school EV Nova with expanded mechanics, everything like that. I'm just in love with it. I really am.
Yeah, okay.
Grabbing Marines and going and raiding pirate bases and taking things over, and just love it. Great. Give it a shot.
Additional then question. Ori. Anyone? Ori?
Nope.
No, I haven't played
either the Will of the Wisps or the Blind Forest. Doesn't matter which one. Anyone?
The Blind Forest, yes. The Blind Forest.
It's absolutely fucking gorgeous. So,
well, why don't I, if I can, I'm going to steer the conversation to the topic of the day, and first of all, make sure. Maybe I'll wait till Scorp gets here to do. I was going to go through and we'll wait till Scorp gets here to make sure introduce everybody. Yeah. That's all we're basically waiting to get started with here, guys.
Usually we wait for DJ though, so. Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done one of these. And we'll get to it, we'll get to kind of our predictions. Let's see, Pilot, you put the bingo card in the there it is.
Yeah, I put it up on Twitter, but I can put it in your chat if you like.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Is that something that we would share with everyone, or is that something just for us?
Oh no, you can totally share it. But use the Twitter link, not the ones I gave you guys. I changed the title slightly.
Just DM it to me real quick, or put it in the live streaming chat channel here.
Sure.
So we all went through and wrote down. I think we all did. I don't know if everybody did, but a list of.
Anyways, real quick one. Dead Star, hey, seriously appreciate your contribution there. I don't know what to tell you, but again, this is sort of a co-streaming thing, so I'm not gonna be able to answer much. And guys, I see this stuff in donations and so forth. So seriously appreciate it. Just for the courtesy of the other guys, I'm not gonna try and engage it too much, but thank you. Anyways, returning to the guys, right?
The right predictions and stuff like that. A couple questions people have asked where I am. We're at Nervi, Nervi, Nervi 3A. We're floating around what's called Mount Neverest, one of the, I believe it is the largest known mountain in the game at something like 40 to 50 kilometers. So just for the pre and post stream, just to give you guys a little something to look at. As soon as the stream starts, we're gonna, at least, I'm assuming YamiKs is doing the same. I'm gonna bring their stream up live. Yeah, so we'll be playing the audio through it, so you can just stay here and watch. We'll try not to talk over it too much. We'll have obviously our own commentary.
It is their pre-recorded thing, so it is better that you watch our stuff than theirs.
That was my thinking, right? A little more interesting. I'll admit I've been going for the last hour or so, because there's actually a couple thousand already over there. I've been commenting there saying, hey, come join us, right? I didn't post in the link, right? Because I didn't want to put
that's okay. That's one thing I would never do for streams. It's just
like I said,
not a
I
thing
didn't post the link. Right, I didn't post the link in, right? And I was chatting back and forth with their with whoever's moderating. I think it might be Steven. I was chatting back and forth with him a little bit, so I wasn't being, I wasn't trying to be coy or underhanded about it. YamiKs, I did get a message from Zach about my April Fool's video. He sent me something. Yeah, he basically sent me a couple little meme things, like the, like shocked reaction things. And I said, yeah, I was a little worried that, how you guys would take it, and if I would get in, that you guys would be even more pissed at me or something like that. I think his comment was, yeah, it cut a little close to the bone, and I think Steven and I lost a few years in the first half of it as we were freaking out, but it was all in good fun. So they seemed to think it was pretty funny too. Yeah,
I
most
don't
people
know,
got
just
it when
leak
they either
everything
saw.
I say, you know. Then again, hey, you know,
Sure,
that's me who's
sure.
saying, who's just.
Yeah, most
Oh,
people
well.
picked it up when they saw no swimming pools, or that you instead of starting in the Sidewinder,
Even
you
I
start in
got
the
that
Ask
stuff in my
Scout.
chat. God
Right?
damn it,
Did you?
Exigious. Because of you, my chat was, well, constantly mentioning no swimming pools. I'm thinking,
Well,
wait, what was that? Oh, that's
Yeah.
Exigious thing. God damn it,
Yeah.
Exigious.
Yeah. I wanted to start. I should have thought about it and started a hashtag no pool, no buy.
Oh,
Right?
God.
Because come on, they got to have swimming pools. I mean, even some of the stations have those little, those little fountains outside
Hey,
or
as long
inside.
as they
It's
have
just like,
cocaine room, I'm fine.
hey,
Oh my
there you
god.
go. There you go. So, God, Scorpius, what are you doing, dude? He said he was only
I
going to take
have
5 minutes.
no idea. He forgot about or how to unmute probably. He no understand the internets, I guess.
Ass in here. I just DM'd him. Get your
Yeah.
ass in here. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just start and kind of make sure we introduce everybody. We'll introduce Scorb when he gets here. For Yamiks stream, I'm Exigious. We've got the Yamiks. Say hi.
Hey, I'm content creator known by the name Yamiks. Yes, I do potato and sometimes a video too. So there is that. Yes.
We've got the pilot.
Hello, I'm the guy who flies things and pushes things through space and tells you how it feels. Exploring
And
like
let's
black holes and holes and everything like that.
We've got Gluttony Fang.
Hello, I'm the founder of the Anti-Xeno Initiative, and pretty much just about things related to Anti-Xeno and the Thargoids.
Woo!
And perfect timing, we have a Scorbius.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Tell him a
Who
little
you
bit about
are
yourself.
and what does your daddy do?
Yeah.
Oof.
Tell them about yourself, quick, Scorb.
I'm a Muppet. I make videos and I do streaming. And we're here today because we want to see what's going on with the fleet carriers. And we all
Blame
have shared
Exigious. He
interests.
pulled us all in. Yep.
did.
I'm
I
throwing you
just
under
thought
the
this
bus.
would be. I thought it would be a little more fun if, if we all were chatting, and especially since, as I think most of you guys know, since they're not doing, since they're not actually doing this as a live stream, they're doing it just as a pre-recorded. And I get that, especially with, I'm imagining Corona had something to do with it.
No.
But yeah,
No
right.
way.
Regardless, we figured that we could chat with you guys since they can't answer questions real time, and yeah. If I said this before,
I mean, they're not going to be answering stuff, so might as well watch our stuff, as I said previously.
we can't
Pilot,
really.
You know what? I'm not going to
answer,
complain.
but-
I really like their pre-recorded stuff a lot better anyway.
Well,
do.
I kind of agree with that too, to be honest with you. I don't think it's a bad idea all the way around. I mean, this is a big deal. They want to get it right in terms of the messaging. Again, if you're in the
Make sure
Discord,
that there are
like,
no technical issues.
Sure. If you want to join us in Discord to ask questions and stuff, we'll try to pay attention to that. The live streaming chat channel in Discord is where we are. If you want to try to ping us with questions there, go ahead. We'll try to pay attention to this. We all got our own respective chats up. We're going to try to pay attention to that with questions. It's obviously going to be pretty hard. I'm up to 650 at this point, so with that many, it's going to be pretty tough to follow along all the questions. I think a couple of my moderators are here, so if you guys happen to see questions I miss, you can try to put them in the live stream channel for me. Why don't we talk about a little bit of what we know, and maybe because we've got about 15 minutes here, a little bit of our predictions. I'm just going to kind of start as we've got everybody in the Discord now and go straight down. Scorbius, why don't you? I guess I'll state the things we know. We know 5 billion credits to purchase. We know that we'll be able to jump them. 500 light years. We know that they will require a fuel that we can purchase and we can mine. We know they've got 16 pads, mix of medium, small, and large. What else do we know, guys?
We
Pilot,
know
you
that
do-
there will be loadouts, or at least customization. The question is how that will express itself. I don't know, but there will be apparently such things.
There's going to be a basic implementation of some kind of marketplace, a player-run marketplace, but
Maybe?
no actual indicate. No, there is in the official press release.
Yeah.
The question is how much of it is.
What is
gonna
that
be-
word? Yeah.
Yeah. What does it mean?
Is that an economy or is that a market? Because that's two different things.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right. Everybody knows.
Yeah, and anything. What else do we know? That's pretty much all we know for certain at this point. I know when we were talking about it with our guys, one of the things I always try to make sure people aren't doing is like when you speculate too much in this game, we all know that there's so much potential in it, and then a lot of times it's squandered. And I think we talk about featuring like it'd be so great if it did this, and then when that doesn't happen, we get disappointed, which isn't really fair because Frontiers never said it was going to do this, so then we get all pissed off that it doesn't do these things, right?
Hype leads to
Expectations
No Man's
management.
Sky, basically.
I hope.
If you remember the history of No Man's Sky, that's hype essentially.
Oh, very much so.
Well,
Sure,
no, I mean,
sure.
here's the thing, though. I mean, realistically, our expectations management should say, hey, look, don't, theory craft, don't get your hopes up, and then you'll just be disappointed when they release something. Honestly, for the last, at least year, I think we've all been pretty conservative on what we think is going to happen relatively, because we don't want
It's a
to get
maintenance
disappointed.
phase, what do you
anymore.
want?
I mean,
Yeah.
look we're only comparing it to other games out there right now that already have these features that we're wanting to be implemented. It's not unheard of. It's not unprecedented.
Sure.
I mean, come on.
I think, my biggest fear right now is that there's going to be some gotcha. I use multi-cruise as an example all the time. Like, we were all
5 billion
psyched
is
about
not
multi-cruise.
already a gotcha? Oh, okay.
Well, sure. No, well, I mean, honestly, I'm going to admit, I think that is a very reasonable base price. I'm worried about the upkeep, right? But when you look at a fully outfitted cutter, can be as much as 1.4 billion.
1.6
5 billion
actually.
for okay, fair enough, right?
Yeah, I
so
tested it.
5
It's
billion.
just insane.
Okay,
How much would a station be? I mean, let's look at it like that.
Exactly.
You've got a
Exactly.
mobile station.
Yep,
If you wanted
yep.
to buy a station, you're talking trillions of credits.
Yep. I
And
think it's
upkeep, up the yin yang. It's like you need to pay staff. You got all these things that you need. People keep crashing into the station. That has to be paid for somehow.
Yep.
That's actually what I'm worried about, though, is that realistically, that kind of system where you need an upkeep and it'll pay for itself if you offer services or anything like that, that would be supported with an economy, not just offering things for sale or anything like that. And that's where I'm coming up a little hesitant, but I am cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, you know what? I'm right there
I'm
with
in
you,
the same
Pilot.
boat.
I'm
the same boat.
definitely more bullish on this than I normally would be.
And right now, I can say something with definitive certainty. My one's bigger than your one.
Oh boy. Okay. Speaking,
Good on you.
speaking-
Good on you.
Speaking of the hype
Stroke,
Mine looks
pat,
nicer.
pat.
surrounding the carrier and whatnot, what
Mm.
is each respective community expecting or hoping for out of this?
That's a good question. Gluttony, why don't you start answer your own question?
Of course, that's actually what I was hoping for. So
there you go,
obviously, the NT's community is hoping that we will get it as a way for us to kind of vary between the Guardian space and also humans bubble. This way, we can
Yeah.
help the newer players to get their Guardian weapons faster because that's more efficient in AX combat, and as well as being able to station next to a conflict. NT-Xeno conflict, AX conflict zone, so we will be able to kind of stage more operations. So that's what we are kind of hoping for. I don't know what other communities are hoping to see.
I
I
think the
know.
explorers are probably looking forward to camping out in the black somewhere.
Yeah,
They
I
just
gotta
need a
think on
point
the
to refuel
exploration-
at.
Well, on the exploration side, I'm looking forward to the idea of us being able to populate the galaxy with stations, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
hoping that we will be able to, place a string of carriers, of bases, basically out to Sagittarius A, out to Beagle Point, right? Somebody's going to rush and try to be the first person to get one to
Proxim.
Beagle and to get one. Yeah, oh, sure, right. You got to think Zulu Romeo, if he's still playing, who's the first discovery on Sag A, that he would love to get a carrier to Sag A, right? So I think that if we can do that, one of my big questions, I hope we get answered today, is how is that access going to work, right? One of my predictions is that it's going to be like private groups are, right? That certainly I can't imagine all the carriers are just going to show without that, because what are you going to have 20,000 fleet carriers in Shinrarta? That's not work. So I'm guessing it's going to be you request access to it like a private group. Then the question is, does that private group, like, can you do it where it automatically accepts that request? And we're going to find out here in a minute. You know, so that you would be able to set up a station and say, hey, just request access, and here's where it is. I'm already planning a fleet carrier registry for the ED tutorials site, so that people can go and say, here's my carrier, here's where it is, here's how you would gain access to it, so that we can know, you know, where all the player carriers are and have that all in one place, right?
I'm thinking, and I'm not going to get what I want, which was to burn the bubble and let's go populate the rest of the galaxy.
Oh
But
boy, oh boy.
I think what we're going to get is micro bubbles. If you're going to,
I agree.
Specialized little one carrier for mining, he's going to park out there. Someone is based for trade, and he's going to park in the next system over, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you're going to be able to have these little micro economies that pop up that are just totally player driven, which really should be interesting.
Oh, I mean, I agree, right? Like I'm still pretty stoked about this. At a minimum, I think I've said that as long as we can put, and you know, some of these are assumptions, as long as we can bring friends along and we can say, hey guys, let's go down, this is Gluttony's point, let's go down to Pleiades and do some Thargoid combat. Everybody jump on my carrier, I'll jump us down there in one jump. Because I think the other thing to make clear to everybody, this is in-game content, guys. I mean, yeah, 5 billion at this point is not incredibly difficult for somebody to earn, but I think a lot of people might be looking at this as, I've got to go have a fleet carrier, right? And these are meant for players that have got, you know, 500.
Incredibly more harder to earn than you may think.
Exactly.
Because not everyone plays like us. That's the thing.
Right, exactly, and that's what I mean, right? And I think it's the kind of thing where you don't necessarily have to be pissed if it's not something you can get. Certainly, when you're earlier in the game, like if you're under 1,000 hours, I don't know that you need. We're going to see, right? Like it depends on what features it offers. Our squadron, I'm grinding us out a squadron 11 carrier for, you know, so that we can, you know, move guys around quickly on that, you know, that don't have that level of credits and don't want to grind out that level of credits. Don't want to deal with the upkeep, right? And especially to your comment, Pilot, if it looks like, you know, by players interacting with that carrier, they can basically keep it up for us. If that turns out to be accurate, that gives for some interesting, you know, multiplayer and squadron use.
Yeah.
Right, and the keyword is a fleet carrier, so not necessarily that every player has to have one. A group of players can help to maintain and upkeep one.
Yeah. I want to comment on Hawks Gaming. Apostle shared a comment from him in the chat that he wants a big vault where he can stuff all these thousands of LTDs inside and then use a smaller ship to ferry them. That will massively surprise me. I don't see that kind of feature happening. Do you guys?
A shared storage system would be very convenient, but then I can also see some downfall of it. So I'm not sure if Frontier is willing to implement that.
Yeah, that goes a little bit back
to like cargo storage. So like if you've been doing all
that's what we're getting at.
Diamonds. All right,
yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so here's an interesting point. Everyone's in Boran right now mining the diamonds to go afford the carrier. The first person who goes and camps their carrier out in Boran outside that ring and offers to buy diamonds at a decent price,
right?
Probably not too deep. They're going to make a killing.
You're assuming two things.
You are assuming two things.
I am, but I think I'm right.
You're going to be able to put it in Boran, and second of all, that you're going to be able to choose a location where you put it.
I don't think it matters.
Honestly, expectation is just like with the current state of megaships that are player quote-unquote owned,
like the
Gnosis,
Gnosis. Yeah,
the
like the Gnosis,
players just basically give developers, we want to put it in this system. They just spawn it randomly somewhere, and that's honestly what I expect. Because realistically speaking, obviously a lot of people will have those thingamajigs floating in Shinra the desert and whatnot else. So how are you gonna, put them in a relatively spaced out place? Well, lo and behold, our Lord and Savior, RN Jesus, comes to help. So that's most likely gonna be the thing.
I'll admit, I'll be pretty disappointed if we can't, to this point, specify.
Be prepared, buddy.
Well, then I want to be able. Alexa, stop. Yeah, we got 5 minutes, guys, till they go live.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll Alexa, set it. Alexa, stop. Sorry.
Oh, the dildos.
Alexa, buy that lube.
What's the point of you having a fleet
order
carrier
50-gallon tub of lube.
Yeah. Your Alexa.
So I'm hoping we can say, jump to, one of the big questions that obviously raises is, can we jump straight to Hutton Orbital and places like that? Like, what's the control of that going to be? And we were talking before we went live about, the ability to kind of groove people, right? You tell everybody, hey, my carrier's going to be here, come jump on it. A bunch of people come to it, and then you jump them 5,000 light years away, and they're all fucked. Well, I think it's going to be a matter of, you got to trust the carrier you land on. Right, and you shouldn't be landed on carriers you don't necessarily trust.
That
So
basically means I got another episode of asshole tips. Fuck yeah!
Oh yeah, I think this is going to be a good one for that, right? So again, guys, we're going to play bingo during this. So if you, I'll paste in the message for that every so often. Moderators, if any of my guys are on, I'm going to put that right now in the live streaming channel. If you guys want to paste that in from time to time, if you want to come chat with us afterwards, we've got a lot in channel right now, but I'll try my best to open the channel to push to talk. I'm going to just ask everybody when you do that to please be chill. Let's try not to talk over each other. Try to get recognized with the question. We'll try to kind of call on people and do it that way.
Just radio decorum.
Yeah, basically, right.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come listen with us. I do see that my stream is pretty, even though I set for ultra low latency, it's pretty behind us. It's probably like 5 minutes behind us, maybe. I'm guessing, everybody's on the tubes quick right now. Mm-hmm. Are you? Okay. One of my guys, frankly. Maniac, said mine was pretty delayed. And just when I was moving my view around a second ago, I saw it in my pop-up window, and it was pretty delayed.
About 20, or no wait, something like 10-15 second delay or so. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I shouldn't say minutes, actually. I said 5 minutes. It's probably more like 30 seconds is what I'm guessing. Sorry, I didn't realize what I was saying when I said 5 minutes. Somebody did say 2 minutes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've got the official stream up too.
I'm gonna be
just watching for it.
Getting
mine ready. We're almost
2
there.
minutes. Yeah, 2
Yamiks,
minutes.
how many do you have watching right now, Yamiks?
Currently on Twitch and YouTube together, give or take 430, give or take. Yeah, 430.
Okay.
Give or
I've got 50 on Twitch and 800 on YouTube. So between us, we're we're a decent percentage of the 5,000 they've got. So, thanks. And by the way, thanks everybody for joining. Appreciate that you guys would spend your time with us instead of just, watching the kind of boring version. We'll try to make it as entertaining as we can, starting here in the next couple minutes.
All right, less than a minute.
Oh, okay. One of my guys just said my delay is about 5 seconds now. So, okay. All right. It's just.
It'd be great if you just simply crashed, frankly. I'd
Come on, Frontier. Sell this to me.
Yeah,
I want Frontier to sell this to me. I really do.
So I've got my big long list of predictions. You know what? Actually, for those in Discord, I'm going to post in. We like I said, we pasted our predictions to each other earlier. I'm going to put mine in that live streaming channel if you guys are curious. I figure I'll put these in now. We'll see how right or wrong I am at the end.
Let me grab Discord onto the other monitor so that it's not being streamed.
Yeah, and there you go. Good idea. Yeah, there you go. Good idea.
Because I'm doing a window share, not a display, but it's like
I'm doing the same. Yeah,
take no chances.
Yeah. Another tip: if you're showing your browser, you might do a Control-Shift-B and turn off your bookmarks bar. You don't need everybody to see your Pornhub bookmarks and such.
Yes.
Boy.
Remember, you can order your porn in specific categories and so.
By the way, have you guys?
You can do that.
Have you guys?
It will begin shortly.
Yeah, I'm
watching. This is a family-friendly stream.
Exactly. Have you guys seen the videos going around of?
I tried.
Alexa, stop. Have you guys seen the videos going around of people like on multi-conference calls, or like 60 people in a big grid? And there's one where a guy's sitting there with his shirt off, right? And he stands up, and it's not just his shirt that's off. And everybody's like, "Oh my God,
no,
Michael, dude, what are you?" Oh, it's so freaking epic.
Did you watch the one where the woman forgot she's on video and she goes to the bathroom?
Yes, I heard about. I didn't see that one. Right, but the one like this dude stands up and he is just swinging in the wind, man. And they're like, "Dude," they're screaming at him like, "Michael, dude, what are you doing?" And he can't. He clearly doesn't hear him. He sits down, takes another sip of coffee, stands up again, and walks over. And they're just, oh my God, right?
I will promise my viewers I will not stand up. It's fine.
Well, hey, I got no webcam, so I ain't got nothing to.
I didn't set my camera up for this.
Starting.
Okay.
In 1 minute 54 seconds.
Oh, okay, I can jump on.
It started. Oh.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm just gonna.
Why am I waiting 2 minutes? Come on.
Okay, there we go.
Ready for
And
this, boys
by
and
the
girls?
way, like my countdown for them right now is 1 minute 50, 49. Are we all pretty synced? Some of us might be seeing it a little. Okay,
132.
you're a little ahead. You're about 10 seconds ahead of me then.
As
Our
it should
reaction
be.
is going to be very out of sync.
I was just thinking that. Right?
No, it's as long as you make sure that it streams the the last very second. And sometimes actually when I do rewatch my streams on live panels, they are not always at the very last second that it has been streamed. So you can always sort of push it a little bit further on the top.
And just quickly for my chat and maybe for everybody, let us know how the volume of their stream is. So that so that you guys can hear them and us, and that it's balanced pretty well. It's going to be a little hard for me to do so as it starts. I'm going to watch the text chat on my stream anyway. If the video needs to be turned up, just shout out and let me know.
All right, 40 seconds.
All right, I've got
I
50.
can't
So
stand
you're
this.
10.
That
You're 10
music is
seconds
just
ahead of me.
Crap.
I hate
Why
it.
you do this in the
Yes.
premieres? It sucks.
I premiered something and people were like, "Dude, why did you pick this music? This is awful." It's like, this was not me.
Elevator music, go.
And
Oh,
yeah,
is
by the
this
way,
Frontiers stuff, or is this YouTube like?
No,
doing
that's
this?
YouTube's
YouTube-
own
oh, YouTube
premiere
does this.
music.
yes, this is
I-
not. You cannot control this.
Because they want that corporate sounding drivel.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Elevator music.
Well,
And yes, guys, I
corporate
will turn up the
crap.
music, the volume in a minute. I'm waiting for it to actually start playing, because right now this music in my ears is really damn loud. and
Yeah,
I didn't want to
I
hear it.
canceled it.
Here
Alright,
we
here
go.
we go.
Turn this up a bit.
Oh, where's Bingo?
Greetings, Commanders. Thank you so much for
Okay,
joining
there it
us
is.
on this very special review stream.
Yep, here we go.
As you may know, a lot of us
Work from home.
to the ever-changing global situation. However, we have got this amazing pre-recorded stream with two fantastic people that will bring you everything you need to know about the upcoming Fleet Carrier release. While this is a pre-recorded stream, don't worry, the community team and our guests will be in the chat to answer any questions. We hope you enjoy, and thanks for tuning in and watching.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to the Fleet Carrier content review.
Okay, that's good
I'm
to know.
Steve
They're going to be in the
Benedetti,
chat
one of the
answering
community managers
questions.
here on Elite Dangerous, and it's Greetings, Commanders, and welcome. I'm Stephen Benedetti, one of the community managers here on Elite Dangerous, and it's my privilege to bring you the Fleet Carrier deep dive, where we're going to go through and look at what all of these amazing vessels will be bringing to the Elite Dangerous galaxy. But don't worry, I won't be doing this alone. I have two fantastic guests with me who will help me to provide all of this information. I have with me Luke Betterton and Dav Stott.
Hiya.
Their
How are you
volume's
guys?
so low.
Super.
It is.
Yeah, I'm
good.
turning
I'm
it up.
fantastic. Really been excited about this.
I've
really
got it
looking
full
forward to
blast
Thank you guys so
on
much
my
for
end,
coming through.
from my guys.
But first of all, for
I'll
anybody
turn
who doesn't
myself a
know,
little
Dav,
bit.
you've been on a couple of live streams.
Yep.
But would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So, hello, my name's Dav Stott. I work on the Elite Dangerous server team.
And we have Luke.
I'm Luke. I'm a designer on Elite Dangerous, and my current focus is fleet carriers.
Fleet carriers, and that's a really
Hello,
good segue into the
Nice
next
to know
question.
you.
What have you guys been doing with fleet carriers at this time? What was your involvement been?
So there's quite a lot of moving parts to fleet carriers. So there's a lot of detail. There's within the player interactions, lots of transactions, quite a lot of new server mechanisms behind the scenes that we'll come on to a little bit later on. And also
I would like
the
to talk
server
to your
team
server
takes
team.
care of the live operations to make sure that you all get a good experience playing the game.
And I'm there to make it all stick together. So I guess design is kind of like the
Is
glue
he
that
wearing a
holds all of
lab
the
coat?
individual bits
Yes,
together.
yes.
So
Somebody on
to-
my
to
chat
the
already
gameplay
said
and all of
that.
and
It's
it
got
makes
his
sure-
commander
makes sure
name
all
on
that
it if
comes
you see.
together, and we provide a really good experience that's exactly what we want to make.
Yeah, I think
Commander
that's a
feels
bit.
good.
Commander feels good.
Commander feels good. I like that.
I
so
have
I mean
mixed
that's really
emotions
important.
about
So
that.
we've got two fantastic
Dav, he
illustrations
always
here
wears
to
one.
go through all of this because
No,
there's
it's
a
Dav, yeah,
lot to these
he's
fleet
alright.
carriers. There's so
Like,
much
Yeah, no,
information.
he's-
There's so
yeah,
much that can be
really
done with them. These
bright,
are the
brilliant
killer
guy.
game ships that we
Personally,
I see a
want
burp
to
hitting
show
the
off.
gun on the
So
shelf.
let's go through the really important facts first.
Yeah, I
The
was
key
hoping Burr
questions
could
that
join
everybody
us.
will be asking
Yeah.
is the question that has came all around a lot because it's been our response. How much is a fleet carrier? What is a lot? What is a lot of money?
A lot. It's going to be billions.
It's billions.
Billions.
It's specifically it's 5 billion credits.
5 billion credits, which
Yeah.
is just phenomenal. So this is obviously for a lot of gamers who have been asking for a long time and will have the funds available, or it gives people a challenge and a task to
Yeah.
kind of go towards.
Oh yeah, these are far more expensive than anything else you've ever bought in Elite Dangerous. They're right at the tip top of.
Quite a lot more capable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
huge.
So you get a lot for your buck, bang for your buck, kind of in
Yeah.
a sense. And not only that, they're individually owned.
Yep, absolutely. These are yours to command.
Yeah, we've done away with the association with squadrons that we originally wanted to have a go at. But yeah, we want to give these things to you individually as players. So that means multiple in your friends group. Even if you don't have a squadron, you can have a bunch of carriers that are working together, or you can have a sort of a whole fleet of fleet carriers for your squadron.
So they did decouple
it's an amazing,
squadrons
it's
from
amazing idea
carriers.
having all of these fleet carriers for everybody, but also they can jump
that early
quite
stuff,
far,
by the way.
can't they? How far can fleet carriers jump?
So it's using the same technology that you've seen jumping the mega ships and the capital ships around the game today.
Yeah, that's 500 light years.
500 light years.
So in one jump, you can bridge 500 light years.
And if you're
Come on,
careful with your
guys,
fuel, you
get
can
to
even
it.
get back again afterwards.
Oh, that's brilliant, and that's the amazing thing is it gives so many opportunities for exploration to kind of go out, but obviously as well as for helping it with combat and mining is situating yourself in these really good positions and situations to help provide for these other gameplays. It's just such a mammoth. So obviously we previously sent out a video, a trailer on fleet carriers last year, and some things over that time has changed. Obviously we had a bit more longer to kind of look at them, and we had a look and we decided that we wanted to make some changes. Can you just explain what those changes are?
We've made it more cool.
It's
Made it more
cooler,
cool.
yeah. So the original loadouts where we had things like exploration, bounty hunting, we had things that were focused around kind of the primary activities of the game, like the main sort of routes or careers that people take. And it just didn't feel quite as good as we thought it should do. So we looked at that again and we realized that the answer is to make it up to the player. So as the owner of a fleet carrier, if I want to go bounty hunting, great, fit my carrier for bounty hunting. If I want to go out long range exploring, great, add a bunch of stuff to your fleet carrier that allows you to go exploring like you've never been able to do before. And you can do a whole bunch of stuff with this. I'm looking forward to seeing what people do.
Yeah, and that's what's really interesting is that we're going to go through this content review live stream and we're going to show off some of those kind of key features as that goes. But don't worry, there's a lot of information to go through for these fleet carriers, so we're going to try and show off as much as we can. But we will also be having a content review recap over in the forums later on after this stream, which we'll throw the link in for when that goes live. So before that, we will start going through and looking at some of the key features, and we'll kind of discuss and go through that.
Yeah,
but as a forewarning, this is a hot build, so we were able to get some images and videos to kind of show off some
So the loadouts are
numbers
no longer
and
rigid,
text
they're
might
more
be subject to
fluid
change.
for
So
loadout
please be
for
aware that
development
might come
purposes.
as time goes on.
Yeah,
Because as we said,
Waiting
we
for
do
a
plan
shoe to
on also
drop.
providing 2 betas for this update, which we'll go into more detail towards the end of the video. So let's go in, and the first question I need to ask is, where can I buy a fleet carrier? That's one of the most important questions. Where can I get one of these?
So fleet carriers are created by Brewer Corporation. Originally, they're the manufacturer of the Coriolis starports
Oh.
that you've seen. They're iconic to Elite
was like, what the hell
Dangerous
was- okay.
and even previous Elite games. And Brewer Corporation are also now the creators of the fleet carrier. That fleet carriers take a lot of stuff. So you'll find these sort of manufacturing locations near the central hubs of the powers or the superpowers, and any sort of very large industrial kind of hubs. The center of the populace of Elite Dangerous. I guess there's about 12, 13,
on
something like
order.
that.
You'll
Yeah,
see them
they're,
being
they're
built.
really big investments. So if you think about how big a capital ship is, the dry dock to construct it is even bigger.
Yeah, there's a reason you're paying 5 billion credits for
Yeah,
this.
the fit out inside, the crew to run it, it's a big endeavour, so there's not that many of them.
Yeah, and we can see just above us that we have an image of a station with a carrier construction service outside. Now, obviously these things are massive. There's no way that they're getting through the mail slot to get in and out.
You can have a go.
No, so obviously they have these construction services, but we're going to try and go through and purchase one and talk about the flow and how you can get your fleet carrier and do it up. But these things are to indicate where you can purchase a fleet carrier.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily interact with them, but they are absolutely stunning. We can see one up close now, sitting right there, but they're outside these stations to let you know that there will be a fleet carrier vendor.
Yeah, essentially that's the factory.
Yes.
You don't go to the factory to buy the thing, you'll go to
Showroom.
the showroom, exactly, yeah. You go to the showroom and talk to someone who will set you up with one out from the factory.
Out from the factory. So we actually have a kind of image here which shows us where we can purchase a fleet carrier, because that's what we all want to know. So we can see here that we've got the fleet carrier vendor, so they will be in the contacts panel and the stations available, and you can go in and you can purchase a fleet carrier, and we bought one.
Yep.
Look at this.
Here it is.
So look at this, it's absolutely stunning. And as we said, these are massive ships with limitless possibilities and potential. So we wanted to make this purchasing feel really important. So you can see there's this lovely screen here which shows you the brewer saying, on behalf of the Brewer Corporation, you know, really making this a big deal, because to us it's a big deal. We want you guys, the commanders, to feel like it's a big deal for you too. So
While we see where it's gone.
Yes, and that's another thing. Like we said, you can see here on the Galaxy, the system map, that there is a wee icon down in the bottom, which indicates where your fleet carrier. So like you said, we're not going to get them at the factory. Where do we get them?
So fleet carriers, well, we'll talk about how they move at some point very soon, but primarily they'll act mostly like the megaships that you've seen in the game so far. So they'll be orbiting their own bodies. These things are enormous, and they need their own space to move around.
Yeah, and that's where we can find them. So once you purchase your fleet carrier, you then have to go towards the fleet carrier so that you can start enjoying the fruits of your labour, in a sense. So we jumped to our fleet carrier, and here's some shots of it, and as you can see, it is absolutely massive. It's got, how many landing pads does one of these fleet carriers have?
2, 3, 4 large.
Oh God!
Are you trying to count?
Jesus!
It's got 16 landing pads. 4 medium, 4 large, and 8 small, I believe.
Fantastic. So yeah, you can see obviously how massive these are. You can see the comparison to some of the ships that are actually docked on it from here, and that's a large landing pad that we've got on there with some medium and small to the other side. And they are absolutely,
I think you got that wrong. It looks like there's an 8 large.
Massive. They've got so much potential for them in them.
I think
But,
this is surprisingly
Maybe those are
important.
small.
when you actually land on the fleet carrier.
I think it was.
Well, they're just getting started.
Ta-da, this is the big reveal. So as you can see here,
Service
we are
tariff.
presented the fleet carrier service menu.
Yeah, so this is very similar to the Starport services menu, but fleet carriers, they're a different operating system.
Yeah,
so
they are
this is
their
what
own
you're
thing,
connected
so
to
it's
now.
a new screen.
Yep.
Yeah, so as you can see here, you've got the fleet carrier service menu. You've then got something similar to the right of it. Like we said, there's a lot of similar features. So we've got like the crew lounge in there. We've got the livery down to the bottom right with different things. But there seem to be some of them greyed out, some of the options greyed out, and some of them highlighted. And why is that?
So when you first get your fleet carrier, it's got the basics. It doesn't have all of the optional extras because there's a cost associated with buying all the optional extras. You'll get the basics, and you'll be able to use that however you see fit. So initially, you've got you know some of the basics at your crew lounge, like you said, but you've also got a commodities market, a tritium depot, and carrier management.
And carrier management. But this tritium depot, what is that? What is this? This is the first time we've ever seen this thing called tritium. What
I
is
noticed
what
there's
is
no
tritium?
outfitting on the screen.
Tritium is the fleet carrier fuel.
Yeah, no
It's the
outfitting,
fuel
just,
that
yeah,
has powered
colours of it.
megaships and the Imperial and Federal capital ships for some time, and now we're making that kind of up front and centre, something that you can interact with and something that you can use to power your own fleet carriers and other players' fleet carriers as well.
Fantastic. So yeah, this is the new fuel, and you can get that through different ways to collect that stuff as well.
Yeah, there's a few places that'll be able to create their own tritium, but the main place you'll be able to get them is from icy asteroids.
Icy asteroids.
Yeah, normally you got them from
No
surface
core
and subsurface
mining.
deposits.
Fantastic. So there's a way, this is how you can jump in and actually move the fleet carrier around, which is fantastic. And the other thing that we discussed, so with the fleet carrier services, there's a bunch of them that we don't have available for us yet. So we end up with the standard services with our fleet carrier, and then that's when the individual's element comes into it. That's when we can start actually making the fleet carrier and making it our own and have that really interesting customization through that. So I think what we're going to do is have a look into the fleet carrier management service. So as we saw earlier, there was an
Weekly
option for that at the
upkeep,
bottom right.
10K.
We now have the fleet
10
carrier.
mil. What
Fleet
a
carrier,
surprise.
10 million a
management
week.
service part.
I
I
predicted
kind of
it.
lost
mouthful,
my
yeah.
voice there. It's just there's so much to look at once you
Passive.
first look at that. You can
I
see
think-
all the information that's here. However, just it's important to know that will everybody see this kind of version of it?
So, everyone can see some version of this, but this is specifically with all the options down the left that you can see there. This is for you as the owner of the carrier. This is unique and special to you. You'll get a slightly cut down version of this if you're just a visitor at the carrier.
Visitor at the carrier, which is fantastic. So we can see that there's a bunch of different options, and there's a few that are greyed out, but we'll carry on to that. So the first thing that we really want to look at is the summary, as it's the first tab there. We'll start going through that. So could you tell us a wee bit about what this summary is and what does it explain?
So you can see a little bit of what we already talked about. You've got the available services, and you've got you've got some relationships with the local faction, or the local superpower rather. You've also got the ability to see whether you're currently able to make the changes we were talking about earlier to the way your carrier is fitted. But probably the biggest thing on that screen that people are going to be asking about is 25,000 units.
What is 25,000 units? That's exactly what I was thinking, look.
25,000 units is a lot.
Just how big is your fleet carrier?
Yeah, it's inside that. There's space for 25,000 stuff.
So as we stated earlier, this vessel is used for moving around the galaxy, but it's to have things in it, like different services, to have some ships in it, to have some modules in it, to have different stuff in it, and this helps you manage the capacity of what you can fit and how you can fit it around.
So currently you've got nothing. You've got a grey bar across the top that shows you what you've used out of your current capacity, and you've got a breakdown of how that's used underneath. Currently that's a bit boring because you haven't got anything.
Are you trying to say that my fleet carrier is boring?
For now.
For now, we're going to go through and make sure that we're able to show everything else.
It's pretty cool, but I think we can do better.
We can do better, definitely. And the other thing that you said that was quite interesting there was this
this is boring.
Superpower reputation that we're having with them. Obviously, that can be affected by certain things.
Yeah, if you're using your carrier, or rather, if you're enabling your carrier to facilitate things that the locals don't like, then if you get detected in that area, if players around your carrier are detected doing things that are bad, your local superpower is going to tell the local faction to send more security. That's essentially what that tells you.
And that's a good indicator, so you know if you're in the good books or in the bad books.
Exactly. Yeah. So you've currently got the Empire, who are pretty happy with you being there. They'll send a minimal level of patrols
to make sure
that can go worse.
Yes.
That's if you get caught, though.
That's only if you get caught.
That's only if you get caught. So the next thing, which is really important, is probably one of the most important things on this this tab, is the navigation. So we can see that right now, the current system that we're in, we can see how much fuel that we've got, and we can see how far the jump capacity is. Now this navigation panel is really important.
I love it.
Because this is how we move, isn't it?
This is how you issue orders to your bridge crew for jumping your carrier to other locations in the game, either an entire star system or a body within the star system.
Yeah, so you can either select the star system. So what you'll do is you open the galaxy map, select a nearby location. Well, I say nearby, anywhere within about 500 light years, apparently.
It's not that nearby.
Yeah, and that's how you can jump to it.
Exactly. Select the location, and then your bridge crew will take care of the rest for you. But if you already know about certain places in that star system, so for example, the third body along has the icy asteroids, and you want to do a refuel, you could select that location. You'll be able to park there as well, which is the magic that staff has been working on.
Yeah, and that's what's really interesting. Like you said, you've just mentioned bridge crew, and we will go into that a wee bit further down. That these are really interesting points that you're going to be having crew, and you're going to have to run this crew and manage the crew, because you own the fleet carrier, but the carrier kind of runs itself with your management.
Absolutely,
in a sense.
It is its own corporation.
Yeah, these things are. Even if you're not online, these things are still there. They're still doing what you've told them to do. So they need a crew to manage them.
Fantastic. So that's really important, because if you have all these different facilities and crew, you're going to have to pay them, I assume. They're not just going to do it out of the goodness of their heart.
No.
Oh.
Not for long.
Not for long, anyway. Not for long, anyway. So that actually brings us as a good segue into the next point, the budget. So this is the budget screen, because, like we said, there's a high cost to buying fleet carriers, but you not only have high cost, there will be running costs.
Yeah, this is the top end, so there's a lot of costs involved. But for the players that are going to enjoy fleet carriers, this is pretty much in their ballpark.
This is it.
Yeah, this is about what they could. Yeah. This is their level of finances.
Yeah. We've run the numbers.
We've run the numbers. They've worked. So can you give us a wee breakdown of what is available on this budget screen?
So at the top, you've got your carrier balance, which is pretty important. The carrier has its own separate wallet, I guess. It's got its own balance that is completely separate from your balance, but you can transfer with the button at the bottom says deposit and withdraw. You can move funds between your carrier, or your bank balance, and the carrier's bank balance, and if your carrier is doing pretty well financially, back again as well.
So fantastic.
if
So
you can turn a profit,
I can take funds out of the bank and go off somewhere else and buy something and come back and deposit it back in.
Yep,
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
yeah. This is a great place to store all your stuff.
Yeah, and we can see also they've got like this weekly upkeep as well. Oh, we're depositing, so
Yep.
we can. This is that. Yeah, this is like we were saying. We can deposit the money and then we can take the money back out.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Big question
And we can
is,
see they've got this weekly
what is-
cost. So obviously
what
we're
is
going
the
to start
debt?
going into that shortly. We're going to start discussing the different things that we can provide.
Yeah.
But there is an upkeep to these carriers.
Yeah, there's the services that you install and the people who manage the services. They take a salary.
Yeah.
And you pay for them, and they'll do exactly what you want them to do.
You look after them and they'll look after you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. And then this really interesting bit at the bottom, as people can see, is the tariff. What is
Tariff.
What is the tariff? Please explain this tariff to me.
It's your profit margin.
It's your profit margin.
You
yes.
look straight at Dab.
Yeah, no,
What's the
Dab's
numbers?
really good at this formula stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So the when you've equipped a service or installed a facility into your fleet carrier, by default it is it has a stock price. So, for example, when you've refueled your Sidewinder at the nearby Coriolis, you know how much money you spent on fuel. If you were to equip a service at your carrier that spends on fuel, then it costs the same amount of money to provide that service. However, there's nothing really in it for the fleet carrier's owner at that point, so they can impose a tariff. So, for example, if you set the tariff to 15% and you use one of the service costs what it would normally cost, and then 15% on top of that, which is charged to the commander doing the shopping, goes directly into the carrier's balance. And that's where the profit margin comes from, which is essentially the start of the return on investment for the owner of the carrier.
Yeah.
That's where the profit margin comes in. This is where you get something to withdraw at the end of the week.
Yeah, so if you want to head out to the other end of the galaxy and provide a service that players on the other end of the galaxy might really, really want, good one. You can charge a premium for that service. You can exploit the fact that no one else can repair at that location in the galaxy, and capitalism.
I got to
So I
admit
can be
that's,
really
that's
sneaky and
potentially
kind
pretty
of
cool.
take my fleet carrier out and go, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to
I wanna see how the
charge. I'm
commodity
going to make sure
interaction
that
works.
you guys have to pay me more than the odds if you want to survive out here. Or you can go a different fleet carrier, but since you're
I think
here,
it's going to be the same.
You can
as,
risk it, or
the
you can pay
nearby
me extra.
star
or I
points,
could just give you the standard
copy-pasted,
price if I wanted.
and
Yeah,
you
if you were
just
feeling benevolent.
impose
I
it.
mean, if I
Absolutely.
felt that way, if I was
That's
like, I like these guys, I'll do that.
Yep.
I'd do that for you guys. I'd do that for you guys. And the other really interesting thing here is, like we've said, this is a bank balance, and there's a lot of funds coming in and out and going stuff like that. What happens if I run out of money? I'm not very good with money, so I'm concerned. Obviously, it's a massive
the shoe
management
drops.
service. There's a lot to it to keep on top of, and to make sure that things are working. And like we said, a lot of our commanders will have the funds to equip this stuff. But what happens if I'm a commander? I've got the 5 billion. I've not got too much money. I spend a lot. What will happen then? What will happen to my fleet carrier?
So some transactions will work and some will not.
Yeah, if you don't have any funds in your carrier's bank,
Or
enough funds in your carrier's bank, certain things will just not work. You can't afford those things to happen. You can't make new purchases for new commodities that you were trying to buy or anything like that, which we'll go into in a little bit. And if you can't maintain the weekly cost, at some point you'll go into debt, which you'll then have to pay off.
But
If
I can pay it off.
You can absolutely pay it off. Yeah.
Fantastic.
We'll go into a little bit more about how that
Affects things later on.
It's complicated, but it's very fair.
And that's what's really interesting about these fleet carriers is when we're putting this all together to present it to everybody, so many things touch on so many other things. It's hard to do a breakdown that is just so linear because your costs go to your crew, crew go to the services, and the commodity markets have impacts. It's so vast.
Oh yeah, it's,
Absolutely.
It's incredibly complicated.
Yeah.
But, it's complicated
It
to actually
just
explain, but when you
works.
actually start using it,
It does just work. We've
It-
tried
yeah.
our best to integrate it into the
Just
gameplay
one more
mechanics
thing.
that you've been flying around for as long as you've been playing the game.
Yeah. And again, with all the information that we're providing you today, we will give you some more information over in our content review post, where we'll go into more depth of these informations and answer your questions after the stream. But let's continue on. So that's we've got the budget. We're making money now. We've got fleet carrier stuff, and I've put all my funds in. There's some other services that we can show off, and I think the next one is commodity trading.
Yeah, so if we continue down the list, the next one of the sort of the core services, the things that are fundamental to your carrier and they're always available, is the commodity trading facility. This is good because this is something that we've never done before in the game.
This is a little new, a little bit different.
This allows you to request at your fleet carrier a certain commodity. So if I wanted to say, I want to get 2 gold, I can say, I'll buy 2 gold at this price. And NPCs don't do that. Other players fulfill that order.
There it is.
That's
Finally,
player-to-player
dynamic
trading.
markets.
That's player-to-player trading. You heard it
thank
here
God.
first, player-to-player trading.
Absolutely. So the way that the fleet
Wow.
carrier
Only
commodity
5 years
market
to
works
do.
is a
Wow.
little bit different to some of the faction-based NPC markets you've been using in the game. So the owner of the carrier now sets purchase orders. So for example, they might say, I wish to buy 2 units of gold and I wish to offer, say, X hundred credits for it. As soon as you issue that purchase order, we will reserve that amount of capacity in your cargo and this amount worth of credits from your balance to cover that purchase order. Likewise, if you have a surplus of commodities within the carrier, you can list them for sale at a price you set. The one thing that carriers don't support is the idea of a dumping price. So one of the things that the economy-based markets give us is the ability for commanders to sell anything for a small amount of the true worth of a commodity. But fleet carriers don't support that because it's not really within the control of the owner. They don't know how much space it would take up or how much credits it would take up. So this is absolute explicit control.
Yeah, amazing, and you can see that with the commodity trading. There's a lot of information that we can provide for them there. Different, you can see the total inventory, the amount that you've got as well, and like we said, we can put up. Earlier on we had liquid oxygen there that I put on there, so we can have a look a wee bit later on of what that will look like. When we go back into that. But the next thing, we've been talking a lot about crew services and these different facilities that we've got here, and I believe that there is a section where we can manage all that.
Yes, so this is where you hire new crew and fit new services, essentially.
They don't even show
So
how
anything
much
that
they
you
will
wanted
cost.
to
What
do
a
with your fleet carrier
surprise.
that you might have seen on the starport
Oh,
menu,
boy.
with the items that were grayed out, this is where you would add and fit those services and enable your carrier to support those things.
And what we'll do is, obviously, with this, to show you it all, we'll go through and we'll purchase everything. We'll give you a kind of brief look into it. But obviously, when we said earlier, the 25,000 units of capacity that we have for the ship, it's important to remember buying everything all at once might not work out as well. So you can see that we've got the 3 standard ones there, but these we're going to also just quickly purchase all the additional ones to have a look for that and then go through them. So you can see that there's a cost here, there's an installation cost. We've used an example of a refuel
Look
station.
at the costs.
Because I believe
There's
that
even
you can
costs even
get
suspended.
different services through that. So you've got the refuel station, the repair crew.
Wow.
Look at
Yeah,
those
you've got the
additional
refuel.
costs, though.
There's a
Wow.
whole bunch of stuff.
There's a whole amazing things there.
2.5 million a week
Basically,
for refueling.
Things that you can think of doing at the normal starport are now available for you
By
in
15
a
My
My
Sort
question
of
is, are these
controlled
crew
controlled
like
way
some of
to
the
do
better or
with
some of
your
the
fleet carrier.
worse?
They won't really
Good
replace
question, yeah.
starports, but they allow you to do very specialist things and do them how you want to do them.
Yeah, and we've got, so we said, we've got refuel station, repair crews, the armory. We've got a redemption officer, which is a new thing as well.
Yeah, it's
Shipyards,
brand new.
brand new, outfitting and secure warehouse, and we'll go through this all. But the thing with these services, I've said, there's a weekly running cost. What happens if I'm not using a facility enough, or if I decide that for a time being I'm going to be doing a couple of jumps, I don't want to use this facility anymore? Is there a way to stop these or get rid of them entirely?
Yeah, so the carrier administration service, which we talked about earlier, which is, it's not a carrier service per se, it's a service granted by starports to fleet carriers that are nearby within the same star system, allow you to purchase the new facilities, but they also allow you to return those facilities. So if you bought a shipyard, for example, you could take it back to that location and get rid of your shipyard, and the crew would return with it as well. They'll find something else to work on and go about their business. But if you don't want to get rid of a service entirely, you've also got the option to allow the crew who are manning that service to just kind of chillax for a bit.
Chillax.
Yeah,
I like the term.
It's good, right?
Chillax. Chillax. Cool.
So you can suspend the service. So, for example, if you're doing a long-range journey, your carrier has been fitted exactly the way you want it, but you want it to go 1,000 light years that way. You probably don't want to run the services for the entire time that you're jumping. You're just sort of moving the carrier at this time. So you can go through and suspend all the services and lower the running costs, because they take a much reduced wage when they're not active.
They're not active because you want to keep them on board, but
Yes.
just for now, please stay. Use a bit of money doing that stuff. Interesting. So because we've just went through and we bought all those services and added to them, we're going to show off some of the additional services that you can purchase and use in your fleet carrier. And I think the first one that we've got is secure trading.
Oh,
So this is another interesting one as well, because it looks quite similar to the commodities market. But what's the difference?
A secure warehouse. This is a little bit new again.
Yeah. So the secure warehouse.
Are we bringing
is,
more new stuff?
Yeah, more new stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
More, why not? Just add more. So the secure warehouse is almost a one-to-one copy of the commodities market, but with a really important caveat. If you have a stolen good and you want to get rid of that stolen good, you can either go to a starport, you can ferry it the whole way to a starport, sneak it past the system authorities and sell it at the black market. Alternatively, if you don't want to do that, you could also give it to someone who owns a fleet carrier. So you can head to a fleet carrier that has a secure trading, and if they want that good that you've got, then you can sell it there, and they'll store it away from prying eyes.
And they'll give you the credits for it.
And
This
they'll
is
pay you for
this
it.
is buying and selling stolen commodities.
Yep.
That
Doesn't
is.
matter where you got it. If it's stolen, you can sell it and
Good
buy
for
it here.
pirates.
So this is not only the
Yeah,
opportunity
Basically,
to,
we're
you know,
extinguishing
a lot of
again
people
the black
are,
market,
you know,
that's
want to be
same
the
thing.
good guy out in the galaxy and have an honour of code. There's also really room and availability for people who want to be a wee bit sneaky.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's worth saying this is not illegal commodities, because the fleet carrier doesn't have the concept of jurisdiction, because
Yeah.
you own the fleet carrier.
So it's your representation.
Exactly. So
Is it-
legality isn't an issue, but stolen and ownership very much is.
yeah. So again, this is another way that we're showing the fleet carriers our representation of what you want to do with it. How a commander who owns a fleet carrier, it's your carrier.
Yeah, so if you and a group of friends want to go stealing, why would you want to do that? That's terrible.
Thieving.
How,
We're going
how
with
horrible.
thieving.
Yes.
But if you did, then you could head across the galaxy, steal a
'Cause
bunch
it's
of stuff
amazing
from people
fun,
who weren't
that's
expecting
why.
it,
Yep.
ship it onto the carrier,
Go
bring the
stealing.
carrier back, park it nearish to a starport, and then you can do your little smuggling run from there back to the starport.
You know, just like casual.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Exactly. So that's another amazing feature that we brought. But we're also one of the things that we saw at the start was a greyed out shipyard.
Yeah.
So we're also having the ability to buy stocks of ships, which can then offer. Is that correct?
You can indeed, yeah.
Yeah, so
this
this
is your capacity
Oh,
starts to go
that's
away very
interesting, the
quickly. The
shipyard.
25,000 might have
Ooh.
sounded quite a lot.
Okay,
But
now
Type
I
9s are
actually
big.
care.
They don't flat pack that well.
there's no IKEA option on the Type 9.
Assemble your own Type 9.
Man, that would take a lot. The person that throws out the instructions would be regretting that.
No spanners included.
So yeah, we've got the shipyard stock,
Mhm.
which you can purchase different kind of versions of ships. Is that correct?
It's the same versions of the starships that you'll have seen across the galaxy so far, but
Yep.
this is a limited stock that the owner of the fleet carrier can purchase for sale from their shipyard, again subject to the same tariff that you'll have set earlier on.
Yeah. So if you want to, stock some trading ships for your mates, and you're going to go and sell some trading ships in a location that might be convenient for people who otherwise wouldn't have access to a shipyard in that area, you can hike up the price to make it worth your while to do that.
Yeah, and the only way you can make this available is by having this service.
Yes.
So if you want to
That's
have
pretty
like,
damn
certain ships,
cool.
like if you were into say for instance racing, and you found that there was the pack with the stock that has the Mamba in it,
Mhm.
you could then use that. You could then make sure that you've got the Mamba for people to go out racing if they want to purchase one.
Yep,
out in a certain space.
absolutely.
Amazing. And on with that as well, to
There we
keep
go.
that momentum up,
Mhm.
we've also got outfitting stock.
Yes.
So-
yeah, you can have an outfitting service that you can stock in basically the same way. Now there's a lot of stuff. There's
Okay.
a lot of modules.
There's a lot.
So
I
you
have
don't get
the
to select the
AX
individual
ones?
modules, but
That's
you
my
do get to
question.
select these sort of the type of modules that you want your crew to be stocking for you. So
Respect,
there's a quite a long breakdown of the
We
various
get
different types
A-rated.
Yes.
of modules you can fit into your carrier.
It's,
Yeah.
it's by theme and by quality as well.
Yeah, so as you can see across the top, this one kind of says tier 3 out of 3. So of that pack, this is the highest quality and the largest amount, which means that you can customize your stuff. Either you can sell stuff to newer players and hang around sort of the newer areas of the galaxy, or you can go a long distance and take the really expensive stuff.
Brilliant, and we're going to show with both the outfitting and the shipyard. We're going to show later how you can access that.
Yes.
From Fleet Carrier. But you can see here we purchased the top tier one, so we can have a wee look at that as well. And the next thing that we can do, this is just like most ships, we also have a livery, I believe. We do.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Making your carrier your
Oh,
own.
what a
Yep.
surprise!
I mean, these things are so
Oh,
so
imagine
customizable
that.
inside. It
Buy
makes sense
I
to
Arcs.
predicted
customize
that
outside
in
as
my
well.
Buy
April
Arcs
Fool's
right
video.
now.
Sorry, that was bad.
That was
timing.
apparently as I took a wee sip of water there. No,
Absolutely.
of course. And like we said, we've got a lot of different options within the livery, just like you would with your standard ships. We've got different paint jobs. We've got obviously some layouts that we can choose from. You can change like the engine colours
Will there be a
and things
ship
like that,
kit?
which is really cool. And you can go on and you can put it to your own, so
Will
that you
there be
can
a
match
fucking
your
spoiler?
own preference,
Wow.
or if say if your squadron had a certain colour or anything like that. So you can
Yeah.
do the same customization that we've made available for ships, but just on a larger scale.
Yes, I mean, not every paint job would fit a fleet carrier.
No, they've got their own set.
They've got their own set ones, yeah. And
Oh, of
next,
course they
probably
have
one of the
their
most
own stuff,
important
yeah.
ones here as well. I always feel that
Surprise.
it's
Microtransactions,
there's
folks.
such amazing things that you can do around fleet carriers by
You
getting
can't
these
go two
services in, but
steps
it's really
with
important for the amount of
those
control that we give the
fucking
players
things
for
like
that.
Mhm.
And the next version that we have is the settings.
Yes.
So can you explain what the settings of your fleet carrier provide?
Ah, this is what I want to know. Doc.
So the main things are
Yeah, this is
you can
important.
control the docking access that the air traffic controller will, the sort of people you want to be docking at your fleet carrier. So the same way you request docking at a starport, you have to contact someone who will tell you
squadron. There
your
we
landing
go,
pad
squadron.
and whether or not you're allowed to dock.
That's right.
You get to control exactly what exactly the sort of player that you want docking on your carrier. So if you
There
only
we
want your
go.
friends to turn up and you don't want anyone else to use your carrier, that's fine. You
Yeah.
can do that. If you want your squadron to turn up, that's fine. If you want your squadron,
So
and
you
not
have
your
to
friends
at least
turn
be
up,
squadron
weird,
or
but
friend.
Yeah, you can do that.
you don't like your
Right,
friends
so I
to
think
be
I
at your
called
squadron.
that in terms of
But likewise,
like
if you're one of
private
our many
groups.
players who prefers
Why
to
would
play
you do
solo
that, though?
online,
I
we
mean,
absolutely
ideally you
support
want
that too.
everybody
So you can
to-
say that
you can
nobody
make
apart
money
from you
off
can
them.
dock and use your
Well,
own
depending
carrier.
on what you're using your
You can always
carrier
dock it.
for.
If you're a
Are
care
you
bear,
using
you
it
turn
that
for
off, no one
commerce
else-
or
no one
using it
else
just
will
for
know.
I mean,
squadron?
sometimes there's lots of different ways that you could use that. None as well. You
want
could be
to
like,
sell
hey
your
guys,
friends
I need to
cheap
restock or
stuff, you
get
know.
this stuff sorted out. I don't
Yeah.
have time
So
to deal
far,
with
I
this.
think that's-
no one can
that's
stock on this.
seemingly a good
and
way
we're
to do
also
it.
talking about the fact that when you
I just like the
when you
fact
when
that
you
Extras
suspend
on top
something
of
if you go away
all is
holiday,
okay.
you wanted to suspend it and stop people jumping on it because these are persistent in gameplay.
They are.
Oh yeah,
yes, they're
they don't go away.
permanent.
They don't go away, so they'll be there the whole time. So you're going to have to manage that, even if you're away on holiday. If you're jumping in to do something else, make a cup of tea. You need to make sure that these are all there, and that's why crew is really important as well.
Yeah. But that's not the only thing that affects docking control, though.
No. Next up, you've also got the notorious Commander Axe.
The notorious.
Yeah. So this is very much player versus player content. So this is a way of, again, making sure that commanders who own their carriers can engage in the play styles that they wish to engage in.
Yeah. If you're into PvE and you really don't want the people who are PvPing to use your carrier to their own advantage, even if you would make a profit off them, you can set that here.
So if you just had it really grumpy and you were like, I don't want these people anymore, they play me up, they're not getting on, you could, but that's the freedom.
Yeah, it's just a straightforward piece of control.
Yep.
Letting people do what they want to do.
That's
Exactly. Now this is probably, I know it's not
That
one of
makes
the
sense.
biggest features of it, but it's probably one of my favourite features.
JCC.
It's cool, right?
Is
I
the,
like
the
it.
next
Yeah.
one. It's basically you can assign at the start. You saw from the Fleet Carrier Service menu, you actually saw that there was top left of the UI. You can see that there was a kind of a banner.
So it was a big backdrop.
Yeah, there's a big backdrop there. It was a nice banner. You can actually customize it. So obviously, since I went through and I collected some of these shots, I have customized it, and you'll see what I customized it to later, but there's a whole variety of different ones here. Everybody could probably guess what I chose, but you can see that there's a lot of different ones here: trading, mining, piracy, everything.
Absolutely. So this is the list of player activity types that we introduced in one of the updates, and this is the way of players advertising the theme of their carrier. Because you've got so many different customization options, this is your chance to use one of the game's existing labels for that, and it appears in the left-hand nav panel as well as on the Fleet Carrier services menu.
Yeah. So if you're heading towards a carrier, you target that carrier. You look at the navigation panel and you see a list of activities at the bottom. That's basically telling you what the player wants to tell you at that point. That's
Exactly.
your advert.
So everyone can kind of see what's going on when you're jumping in them. Fantastic. And then I think the last option that we have is very important. This is called decommissioning a fleet carrier. What does decommissioning a fleet carrier mean?
So this is
where one of the moving parts comes in.
yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with a fleet carrier, but there's a lot of stuff that other people can do with your fleet carrier if you let them. Other people can park their modules on it. You can store ships and you can store modules freely
Losing
if
more
the
money than I
shipyard and the
expected.
outfitting
Holy shit.
services are enabled. You can, as the owner of the fleet carrier, you can store a whole bunch of commodities on it, and you'll have got all of your services and all of the stock for those services fitted into the fleet carrier as well. But should that become a little bit too much, or let's say you're going on holiday for 4 weeks and you don't want to have to deal with this, like, that's fine. Hit the decommission button. We'll give you a little time to make sure that that's exactly what you want to do, because it's a big investment, and you're only getting a portion of the investment back when you decommission the carrier. This is your option to do that.
Mm-hmm.
A week out, I think it's a week, and the next sort of weekly update, the server maintenance, when that happens, we'll take away your fleet carrier for you,
Yeah.
and it'll become basically like an immobile fleet carrier that players can pull their stuff off for free.
Yeah, so it still exists in the game, but you can't dock at it. But if you dock at another market that has a
Interesting.
shipyard
Okay.
or a module storage, you can transfer your property away from that whilst it's in the decommissioned state.
Which is really important, because one of the biggest fears is obviously these things going out for such a distance, and you losing any of your ships or anything that you've stored there. And the really important thing is that you can still get that back. You guys have made it so that that fear is gone. People can don't worry if somebody's getting their fleet carrier decommissioned. And again, if you feel the pressure of a fleet carrier is too much, if you want to change things up a wee bit, you can always try and pat the parcel and get some of your friends to use their money. Get them to pay for it.
Exactly so. And at the end of the decommissioning phase, whilst the owner of the carrier will get a decommissioned value back based on the salvage condition of your carrier and all of the items in it, other players' property does not get deleted. It gets transferred to a place of safety.
Exactly. Now I think that's really important, which is amazing. So now that we've went through the whole carrier service bit, we want to see what effect this has actually on our fleet carrier and what has changed from the beginning, because now we have unlocked everything. We've just through a kind of wee bit of, we've bought a couple of commodities, we've bought a ship pack, we've bought a modules, all the storage stuff, we've bought them in, and we're going to go and see what that kind of looks like actually on screen.
Before we move away though, it's worth noting that because there's an awful lot of information here, we have spent some time writing this out inside the player's handbook.
Oh yes, that's so important. That's extremely important. I almost jumped away from that there.
We're skipping over a lot of stuff here.
Yes.
We're only briefly touching on a whole bunch of stuff, and yet we're still going to do a whole hour on this.
Yeah, so for those of you who are watching in-game, you can read it in-game.
Exactly, you can find all this information in the pilot's handbook. It's filled with all of information, just like other things that we have in the game. It's all in there. And like we said, this is 1 hour that we're trying to collect all of this information, and because there's so much information,
I want to know what
these,
that
we do
50%
have a thread that's going to be opened up in our forums.
Timer thing in the top right is
all
that the
that
cooldown
information for you.
jumps?
We obviously announce that in all of our
Is that
social
fuel?
channels,
Okay.
and you can go over and
I
ask any
assume
questions. But also,
I guess it
of course,
was the
everyone
symbol,
will
wasn't it?
and
Okay.
everybody can
Okay.
come in and have a wee chat to that.
Yeah, a lot of this will make a lot more sense when you get your hands on it.
Yeah, and it's so much information, and this is the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
As it goes. So let's see if we can jump in and see the new menu. So as you can see,
oh, congratulations, you went for bounty
I
hunting.
went for bounty hunting. Of course
What a
I went for bounty hunting.
surprise.
If any of you saw my streams, I am the best bounty hunter on the planet.
At least
the
you're on
galaxy. On this planet.
At least you're on brand.
I'm on brand here, and you can see now that there's a slight there's a difference. There is some highlight, the ones that were graded before are now highlighted, which means that we can kind of go in and use them. So things like the redemption office. Could you tell us what a redemption office is?
Yeah, that's a new thing.
It's
right?
another
So,
new thing. We just like giving you guys new things.
New for fleet carriers.
Yeah, so the instiller factor has been around for a while, and if you know what the instiller factor is, this will probably make a lot more sense. The redemption office allows you to hand in any vouchers, bonds, or any sort of transient labels for that you can get money out of back to this contact at your carrier, and that, yes, they take a cut. Some of that cut goes to the owner of the fleet carrier, and the rest goes to you. And you can do that anywhere in the galaxy.
So that's really important because the fleet carrier gets something out of this. This is why they might want to facilitate that. But also, it's really handy, so you're not having to jump miles away if you've got a bond.
Exactly. You pay as from the point of view of the commander shopping at the fleet carrier. You do pay a premium for this.
Very cool.
It is a convenience, like the Interstellar Factors is a convenience. You do not get full credit for your vouchers, but you have the benefit of being able to do it anywhere there is a carrier, rather than having to travel all the way back to the jurisdiction of the faction that issued the voucher.
Exactly. Yeah.
And one of the big ones in the middle was this shipyard. So let's have a look. So this is the stock that we purchased previously.
Yep.
Which you can see we went for the Type 7 transporter, and it's got certain options. And you said there's a limited stock.
Yes, absolutely. So this is one of the places where this is now different to the economy-driven markets around the game. So yes, this is the shipyard interface that you're familiar with from the live game at the moment. You can buy ships, but this time there is a finite number of ships. Depending on how many the owner bought, that's how many there are to purchase. For the credits value, that's the stock price that they paid for it, plus whatever tariff the owner has set. It's worth noting that when the owner is shopping at their own carrier, they do not pay a tariff to themselves. But likewise, it's a fully featured shipyard, so you can buy a ship, you can part exchange it, you can store ships, and you can transfer ships.
Yeah. And you don't need to micromanage any of that part exchange stuff. That's all handled automatically.
Yes, this is part of the crew that you've hired to take care of the service for you.
Those lovely crew, I love them more.
They take care of all of this for you. You just click the buy button.
The buy button, and then and similarly, we've done the same for outfitting. We bought some stock of different modules that we would like to sell on our fleet carrier, and there they are. There we go out for the tier 3, and you can see the different levels that we provided.
Oh,
there.
come on! Confirm we can get A-rated modules. I'm going to assume it from this, but
same mechanism, same outfitting interface. You can still part exchange. You have module storage. You can sell modules and get a default if it's a core module.
How much module
ship.
storage?
But the only stock that you can choose from is the finite stock purchased by the owner of the carrier.
Yep. Which would be really good for things like mining, combat, and different things to actually provide specific types of tools that you would actually want to use, which is just super handy. So you can have them and make sure that if that's the type of gameplay you want to have, and with your friends and your squadrons and anybody in that space, you can provide it for them through this way, which is all accessible here. And I think the next part we have is previously in the video we had purchased certain commodities that we put high on price, we put low on price, and this is where you can then purchase it.
Exactly. This is the same commodities market from the point of view of a commander shopping at your carrier, but this time when you look at the sell list, it is only what commodities have been listed as a purchase order or a sale order by the owner of the carrier, and at the price they mentioned. So this doesn't use a tariff, this is an explicit price, and only at the quantities set as well. There is no dumping allowable. You cannot buy something that is in stock but hasn't been listed for sale.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing that I have noticed when we were doing it is it does look a wee bit empty. Yeah. And one of the things that we mentioned earlier was trading.
So this is, again, more new stuff.
It does. We may have heard requested feature from one or two commanders.
Just one or two.
Just saying, is there somewhere that we can store our commodities, please?
Oh, it looks like we can store commodities.
Yes.
You can now
We've
store
got
it.
25,000 storage space, essentially. If you
Wow,
wanted to
that's
use it just as a
huge.
storage space, that's exactly what you
massive.
could do.
That's
And
huge.
this is for the fleet carrier owner only. They can go straight
EIC is
if
gonna
they've
love
landed their
that.
ship on the fleet carrier. They can select, as you can see, I've got certain commodities that I've selected, and I can transfer them to and from my carrier.
Exactly. So
That's
this is
what
a very similar mechanism to when you're transferring cargo between, say, your SRV and your ship. This time you're transferring it from the ship to the carrier. You can't transfer every single type of commodity. There's some that for gameplay reasons don't make sense to transfer. Power play is one obvious example.
Yep.
So amazing. So, and if we go back to the fleet carrier service management screen, we can see this is the commodity market where we would be able to put that stuff in. But we can see here that we have advanced maintenance. Now, previously we purchased 3 separate services.
Yep. You did the refuel, the rearm, the armory.
The armory and the repair. The repair. There was the 3 different ones. Now from that, if we can go into it, you can see that there is a new layout. Obviously we can get this in the standard services, but this is the new layout for the fleet carriers where you can actually go in and use these facilities to repair all the certain parts. parts and refuel and the armory for it.
Absolutely. So this is the same interface that the same set of services that you will have seen before, but with a much more visual interface. It really does show what our UI design team have been busy doing. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah,
Really
this is
nice.
way better than the previous list that we had.
Yeah.
I love the extra polish that we've been able to put
It's
on the stuff.
it's similar to what we were able to do for the ship UI as well in the right-hand cockpit panel.
Does
That's
look
true,
pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah, so if we go back
Yeah.
to the fleet carrier services, we can see here, these are all the different features that both the owner and the player, a guest can come on and see. Obviously, when they go into the carrier management section, the bottom right there, the guest will only see part of the time. They will only see partial parts, a summary of kind of everything else that's going on. But this is what will be available if you had a fleet carrier fully modded out, which would take a lot of
you've gone overboard here. But, it's good for demonstration.
But that's what's important, is that you can change these, you can make things unavailable, you can make them available to your preference and playstyle. But I think one of the real big concerns that I would have is that if I'm out in my ship and I'm flying about in a distant part and my fleet carrier is going somewhere else, can I manage it without actually being on board my fleet carrier?
Yeah, so at every point so far, you've been managing your carrier from being docked at the carrier itself. But obviously you don't want to be anchored to this thing. This is an enormous vessel. It has a crew on it for a reason. And the way that we've kind of solved that issue, so if you want to go on a long exploration trip, yes, you definitely want to be able to manage this thing remotely. So if you buy a carrier, in your right-hand cockpit panel, you'll get an
That's
additional
good to
button
know.
that says carrier
That's
management.
good. Remote access.
That will take you exactly to the same screen that you would have got from the carrier management button on the fleet carrier service.
Brilliant. So we can manage it all from there. We can have the budget, the banking. We can make sure the crew's doing okay. We can
restock if you
restock
want.
if you want, if it's the right system.
If you're scouting ahead, that's where you'd issue a navigation order to come and catch you up.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And we can even plan the trip through that as well. That's amazing. So the big thing is we've went through all this different the management, and again, like we've suggested, like we've said, is that there's so much more to these. This is just the tip. This is just the best way that we could represent is just to kind of show them off and to kind of play about with it. But one of the things that I'm really interested to see, and I don't know if you guys are as well, is to see one of these things actually jump.
I love this.
It is good, yeah.
It is good. So I think what we're going to show you guys is this will be the first showing of a fleet carrier jumping from one system to another.
Yep, we're listening.
Nice.
That's a smart choice.
It's the same drive tech.
It is the same. I think that. Oh wait, no, they probably. Yeah, they improved a little bit of animation.
They
so that's
very
kinda
much
nice.
improved it. That's pretty fucking great, I gotta say.
It's kind of hard to see, but yeah.
I love how you were just waving
they'd
at
done
it as it kind of went away. No, that was amazing. Like the big
I
thing,
love it, yeah.
the big
Since
important
it
thing
uses
with that as
something
well
similar
was,
to
like
the
we said
capture
earlier,
ship,
we were
it can
showing
also
you
be
just
pulled out by
parts of what's
Goids.
available here on the fleet carrier. As we said at the beginning, it takes such a toll to actually do the jump and make the jump. We've got, as it stands at the moment, an hour build up and then an hour cool down after it. Now the hour build up, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more interesting audio that's going on. Like you said, the time to get people to land at their ship and actually get prepared if they want to participate in the jump. To see all that stuff, but we wanted to just show off the really cool space.
Okay,
I don't know
we
what I would
can
say the
jump
best
on
way
board
to
with friends.
describe
That's
that
good to
of like
know.
a thunderstorm portal
It's
thing.
the jump sequence, but
It is a jump sequence.
in the wind up to that,
that's a
you do
good
get
question.
local announcements saying if
What's it
the
look like
carrier
when
is
you're on the
jumping,
pad?
you may watch to stand clear, that sort of thing.
Yeah, notifications of
You
when it's
probably
going to
get
depart, where it's going to,
relogged
that sort
out
of stuff.
to
It's,
main menu
it's
and get
all in
fucked.
there.
It's really cool. So obviously this has been the content review of the fleet carriers.
Oh, no, wait.
As
The
we've
big
said about this a
advertisement for
couple of
arcs.
times, these things are so massive.
All the
There's been
pads
so much
retract
work
when
that
it
everybody's
jumps.
put into them, put towards them, and to put into making these the best version that they can be for that. And we have touched on some of the stuff that's been happening and how you can use it, but we need you guys to come in with us to actually come towards the beta and help make these work the best way that they can be, test them all out. But before we kind of go into that detail, I would like to thank both of you guys for joining us today. You've been fantastic. We have Luke Burton and Dav Stott who have came in to give us the kind of first deep dive look into the fleet carriers and to kind of go through it. And thank you so much, guys, for coming down.
You're very welcome.
I'm really excited to see what everybody does with these.
Oh, it's going to be good.
There's so many new things you can do.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, so as I said just there, that we are going to be having 2 betas this year. Obviously last year we announced that we were going to try and have betas for all of our updates coming out, and this time for fleet carriers we're going to have 2. The first one will begin in April, and it will be for PC only, and then some time after that we're then going to be bringing out a second beta that will be for PC, PS4 and Xbox players. So we really need you guys to jump in. If you can't afford a fleet carrier, don't worry about it. We also need people to come in, test the game, and also test to be as guests on
don't
fleet
tell
carriers.
me
It's
they're
just
gonna
as
grind
important. We
and
can't
bait.
wait to
Are
see
you
what you
fucking
do,
kidding me?
and this will help us massively.
boy.
So also on that,
Oh,
because
that's-
there's so much information, we will have a forum posted on
Well,
our forums, and we'll have social media to go out to give you the links to that, so that any questions that you have, you can go over there. But I think that's us for the first look at fleet carriers. We've got these betas coming up, obviously with the release coming out. We are so excited. All the information will be there. We're really looking forward to see what you do with them. And I think that's us for here, us at the studio.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for watching. All the best, and I can't wait to see what you do with the fleet carriers.
Oh boy.
07 Commanders.
We'll see you in the black.
Wow, what an amazing stream. Thank you so much for tuning in and sticking with us. If you want any more information, then you can head over to our forums where we'll be posting a full recap of the entire
on your
show.
own back.
But before you go, why don't you stick around and check out a very special video that will get you prepped for the beta, which will be taking place
It better
next
be
week
joystick
on
play,
April
otherwise
the
I'm going to be
7th.
very disappointed.
I hope you enjoy. Stay safe, Commanders.
Okay, oh, okay, this is just the ad. Let's see.
Be our QA team. Do it.
Attention, final carrier junction. Carrier crew has started cruising.
This carrier is about to engage the frameshift drive.
Big grind. I mean, half of those. Did you notice? Half of those clips were reused trailer footage.
Yes.
Did you notice?
Okay.
I noticed.
And they're not given dates, by the way. Notice. Just
Oh,
be
the
Yep,
funny
only
thing.
months.
Funny thing
All
is
right,
that
is
they
that it?
also
Okay, I think that's it. Yep, it's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
looks
it.
like it.
All right.
Wow.
I've got 2
Well,
pages
hold
of
on.
notes here.
Before
I've got lots of
before we
notes
start
too.
talking about this,
Yeah.
talking about this, that is quite possibly the most boring content reveal I have ever seen in my
oh
entire life.
my god.
I've been in business meetings, corporate phone calls that have been more exciting than that.
I have to
okay.
say it feels a little rushed and
I mean, they
feels like
clearly
that
wanted
Rushed? It
an
has
hour.
been 2.5 years, dude.
it feels like it wasn't organized in a way where they present things like bullet point by bullet point. It's more like, yeah, let's just talk about these random things. Here's a slideshow, and I mean,
Well, I'm not going to get salty.
As I said
about
previously,
presentation.
I'm kind of with you, Scorpius. I thought the presentation was fine, to be honest. But
Yeah.
let's do
I
this.
got a lot
Let's,
of
guys. So
questions.
I took lots of notes. I'm sure everybody did. If it's cool with
Yeah.
you guys, I'm going to take us through the notes that I took as kind of in the order they presented stuff. We'll just kind of talk about the various things we saw, what our thoughts are. There was obviously some pretty great, pretty big stuff there. Does that sound kind of like a plan to you guys? Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, go
Yeah.
for it.
Okay, and so for the folks in Discord, we've got a pretty big group here in Discord. I'm gonna keep it just to us for right now, just so we can kind of talk through this. There's just going to be such a cacophony of us if I open it up right now. I am watching the live stream chat channel here in Discord as much as I can. Same thing with everybody on stream. Welcome. I just got a nice jolt of people right after the show. After that, I figured that would happen. So welcome to everybody that just joined us. We purposely didn't talk much during the stream, just because we were listening just like you guys. Exactly, right. We wanted you guys to hear everything just like we did. As I said, we all took lots of notes. We're also streaming again. Let me go through before we start here and make sure we introduce everybody. We're live on my channel, Scorbius and Yamiks. So starting with that, we've got Commander Scorbius with us. Say hey, Scorb.
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
And a little bit about yourselves as we go through. Scorb, tell them about yourself real quick.
Okay, I'm a space muppet who makes videos and does live streams. I'm not good at anything. But,
well,
and I try, and I enjoy, and I don't grind.
Yeah, and Scorbius's content specifically is story-based, narrative-based, right? So he does a lot of great, narrative things, some really amazing stuff with third-party tools and animations, and it's some really impressive stuff. You should definitely check it out. Hopefully, if you're on my channel, you know who I am. I make the boring-ass tutorials and deadpan videos that scare you that I'm quitting, and no, I am not quitting Elite. It was all an April Fool's joke. Yeah, I know. Some people are probably disappointed by that. Next up, Gluttony, why don't you tell them about yourself, buddy?
Hello again, this is Gluttony Fang. I'm the founder of the Anti-Xeno Initiative, and again, looking forward to see what we can do with the carrier with the Thargoid content.
Yeah, great. Next up, we have the Pilot. Pilot, tell them about yourself.
I'm a propagandist for space travel, and I sell spaceships, and, well, I guess I can now, huh?
Oh, well, looks like maybe, right? And last, we end with the great and powerful Yamiks.
Oh yes, folks, and greetings after the stream. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did or will do. In any case, I do make content just like rest of these guys. Oh wait, no, Gluttony, you didn't make videos. You make awesome bugs explode. Yeah, that's great. Anyways, I make
Gluttony has
content.
videos. Gluttony has videos of bugs exploding.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. He's got a YouTube channel.
I try to keep
careful.
Memory
Wow.
Every single one person that makes content, but
got attacked.
On stream.
Absolutely does. Absolutely
fair
does.
enough. All right, we'll have to watch them some. But yeah, I make content just like everyone else, and I do things and critique them, especially as you will hear soon enough.
Yeah, Yamiks makes you laugh, right? I teach you how to play. Pilot teaches you how all the ships look and what they do. Gluttony shows you how to blow up bugs, and Scorbius makes stories with all of this. I think that's a pretty good way to break it all down. What do you guys think?
Very accurate.
So let's jump right into it. I'm going to start at the beginning with kind of the notes that I've got. I'll bring up individual topics. We'll all talk through it. The first thing I saw is, he said something about being able to work together as a squadron. They didn't really go into that much. I thought that was interesting. What he meant by that, it didn't seem like I was expecting a little more out of that than it got. Did you guys pick up anything more around that?
Exegius, real quick, just to interrupt.
Yeah.
I think in chat someone said that our voice are lower than yours. Maybe you didn't
okay.
turn us
Let me
back
fix
up.
that. Let me fix that. All right.
Yeah, I kind of need.
There we go again. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Let me know on my chat. I'll pay attention to the channel here for a little bit, and let me know if that just fixed it. Thanks, Gluttony.
No problem. Well, thanks, Slake.
I would say you don't really have a choice but to work with your squadron, because it sounds like it's a hell of a lot of upkeep, and yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll get to that. I mean, should we jump right to upkeep?
The main topic of today
right
is credit sync. That's the topic today.
Yeah, it looked like if you had like everything outfit, you're talking what, maybe $1 billion a year? Like, it looked like the base was 500 million a year.
Yeah.
It's certainly a sink. At the same time, it's giving us an unprecedented opportunity to make credits, as capitalists would say.
Pretty damn interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing is I got everything that I basically said was going to be in there, which I'm proud of myself, but at the same time, I'm still kind of disappointed. This is I don't want this.
Well, I got to admit, I was pretty excited about it going into it, and so far, I've got some big questions left that they didn't cover. But so far, I got to admit, I'm pretty fucking bullish on this, and am fairly happy. Like one of the things, like in the next note I have, I mean, we can jump straight to this. Is I thought the jump animation was pretty damn fantastic.
Oh, that was always going to be great.
Oh yeah, exactly, and that was exactly what I figured.
Reused the capital ship jumping
sure, and
animation.
updated it a bit.
Originally, it was good, so updating it is a pretty
massive frame shift drive
thing.
detected.
Yeah.
Nothing.
What did concern me is that it looks like we can jump. Obviously we know we can jump 500 light years at a time. It looked like it's 2 jumps, and then you're getting fuel again. And it looks like you're going to either ferry fuel to it or you're going to mine fuel and bring back to it. And boy, that's going to make it a lot of work to get one of these things out in deep space. Was that you guys' reaction to that?
And also ice ring only, where the fuel comes from, if you want to mine it.
Right.
What happened to like skimming off of gas giants? I mean, I thought that would be a cool way to get your fuel. Like,
like a fuel scoop, basically.
A passive, yeah, that would be pretty decent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, hold on. Somebody in my chat just said this is a great point. They said, "What about the support vessels?" There was absolutely no mention of that. Yeah,
I think those got scrapped or something.
I kind of that doesn't bother me. I don't think. Right? I thought that was kind of weird.
Remember, they were talking about outfits and in terms of like fixing people into like a combat role, bounty hunting roles, whatnot, and they said they kind of scrapped it and wanted us to do our own thing. So support ships are probably gone.
In terms of fuel, Stuart GT on chat just made a good point that could be true. Can we store the tritium in our 25,000, tons or I guess slots, tons, I guess it would be, of cargo space? So actually, if that's true, okay. So if that's true, I guess that, and we can transfer it back and forth. If that is accurate, then I guess that's not too bad. You could, you could just go out and fill everything.
Hopefully there's everything.
Hopefully there's a difference between.
Yeah. Sorry, Scorby, say that again.
They did say that you can't store everything. Like you can store commodities, but you can't store everything. So like power play modules, you can't store those, stuff like that. But will they say, oh no, you can't store the tritium, you're gonna have to go mine that because gameplay? Is that what they're gonna say? Or is it like, yeah, I mined a ton of it, I'm gonna stick it in my carrier and we're gonna harvest it out of storage and refuel the ship? That would make total sense prepping for a long journey.
Yeah,
let's go get all the tritium. And then you can do step by step.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe there's a difference between injected fuel and actually like just the tritium still in their raw form where they aren't injected.
Obviously, big question. Pilot Yamiks, thoughts?
I mean, realistically, if it does 1,000 light years per refuel, I mean, what's that? 10 refuels before you hit Sag? That's not.
No, more like Sag is 26,000.
22,000. That's divided over times 2. That's 44 refuels.
Well, Sag is 26,000. Colonia is 22.
Oh wait,
right. So So you're talking. I mean, but again, I think to the point that a store. To Scorb's point, it potentially is right. And if I go through the notes, let's see. They talked about where to buy them. I don't think there was any surprise there. That there's 12 or 13. I think there's 12 or 13 locations around. Okay, I don't think that was any big surprise or anything negative.
I like that. Good filming location.
I thought the dry docks potentially will be kind of cool looking. New thing to see. They didn't exactly. No, go ahead, please. No.
You know what I'd like to say is that I would love to see what the game field looks like a year from now or 2, after more than a few people have them, and you have outright mini bubbles and little different supply routes, and everyone's figured out the bugs and everything like that. I think then it would probably be very worth it, but I'm not looking forward to getting there.
It's gonna be such a bumpy road, man. There will be so many little things that, realistically speaking, probably ain't gonna be changed. I mean, look at the engineering, look at, multi-crew. These massive things, as good as they sounded at first, and could have gotten fixed and become okay, have they?
A question I saw in chat was asking about how a solo player will make a profit from the fleet carrier.
You're gonna get fucked.
You're gonna get fucked. I mean, look, this is but solo player is going to have to do this themselves, right? I mean, this is multi-game. I say this is multiplayer. This is multiplayer gameplay, right? You're going to do this in private, group, or in open.
If you're in a PG and you've got your fleet carrier, it will still be visible in open.
Right,
and
it's
inside.
visible in
Right,
all
right.
modes. It's like a permanent
Right,
fixture.
right. Right, exactly, right. And it did look like I liked the idea, and I think I was right in predicting that it's going to work like private groups, where you have to be friends with the person first, right, or with the account, right? Be friends with them, and then once you're friends, bam, it's going to show up for you in Subway, right? And just quite quickly, a housekeeping thing, Aposto, if you'll leave channel and come back, I've set you so that you can speak. Aposto's been seeing a bunch of great stuff from the live stream chat and stuff. I want him to be able to interrupt. Aposto's one of our staff members, level 11, with some of the news that he's getting in, just because it's kind of screaming by really fast. So welcome, Aposto, real quick.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Oh, we don't have your
Yeah, a
mic
bit loud.
I'm too little. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. You're great now.
Pretty loud.
Actually, yeah, that was pretty loud. You are pretty loud. I'll turn you down.
Oh, okay. Here we go. How about this?
That's better. That's better.
All right.
So interrupt us, Aposto, if there's news that is going by that you think that we should see. I saw something real quick I wanted to comment on. They did officially drop officially said they dropped the support carriers. They just decided that support carrier and they would do it the way they're showing us now. What's the other note you pasted in, Aposto?
They never answered how much modules we could store.
No, they never did. That's I
thought I saw that on the screen that went by that you get like 35.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see any number or cap, and I asked it a few times in chat, and FDev never responded to it.
But the module contributes to the 25K total units storage, right?
Well, I don't know.
Yes or no? That wasn't clarified.
Right? Yeah.
The biggest question I really want answered is, our experimental module is going to be available?
By the way, I did say that they said no, that Thargoid modules would not be. You would not be able to outfit and store those. I agree. Right. I saw like that was something that Aposto chimed in that they said in
their chat. They did say they answered that question. So it will not be it's not it's not
Oh my
Guys, did anybody pick up on this thing? So like my chat was asking questions about like, okay, so if you're in the bubble and there's lots of commanders about, you're gonna be able to make money. Because commanders will be able to dock on your fleet carrier and then buy and sell. But what happens if you're way out in deep space?
I got the same question actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yorkshire,
no commanders equals no money. So they're not going to be.
You have to go out in a group.
I think you have to be somewhere. I mean, I think that's where you decide where you're going to put it in some way. Well, okay, so I think my gut says from what they said was that if you're friended with, like if I'm friended with you, your fleet carrier is going to show up for me. I got to very strongly assume that's how it works.
Let's say I'm an explorer. I'm out in open, or it doesn't matter what mode I'm in. I'm out in the black and like, oh shit, I'm in a dark patch of stars. I can't fuel. I should have plotted my route a bit better. Will I be able to check the galaxy map and go, oh, thank God, there's a fleet carrier here, and I don't care if he's charging me extortionate prices for fuel.
No,
I can
Civilization
get
sources. Civilization sources should pick that up.
Well, see, honestly, I think, like, and I got that question too, like, where are we going to see people? Like, somebody on my chat said, is Inara going to track all these things? Well, I'll say as a quick plug, like, I'm already planning to build a fleet carrier registry at edtutorials.com so that players can come in and say, my carrier is going to be stationed here. Because again, I don't think it's going to show up unless you're already friends with that account. So I think finding one.
Another third-party tool we got to use.
Oh, I agree.
No offense.
It's totally agree. Totally agree. I completely agree. And if it's not, I think we're going to have to solve it in that way. But again, I'm right there with you, Scorpius. There should be something in game for it, but something makes me doubt that. Because look, otherwise where's there going to be a screen that shows me the 25,000 fleet carriers in Shinrarta? That's the problem. You get me?
No,
right?
You can't have it in a permit system. You can't have it in a permit system.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay. So put it. Yeah. So pick another populated system, right? Actually, you know what? That's interesting that you say that, Pilot, because I didn't pick up on that, but that makes sense because it wouldn't make sense to be able to jump people into Shin, right? You know what I'm saying? Like people are on board, so that makes sense.
No, I think that Scorpius was having the problem with is that realistically, are there enough explorers moving their way throughout the galaxy that the traffic through the system that you're in is enough to keep the carrier running? And I'm going to say the answer is more than likely no. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go out with 4 or 5 other people who have fleet carriers. Someone who's you're going to have to create a small little micro community, and then people can stop there, and you'll have to advertise somehow.
I got a second question which bolts onto this. If you're in the bubble, then so you can't make money out in the black because no commanders equals no money. You're in the bubble. Why the hell am I buying fuel from your fleet carrier at a markup? We're going to just go through that.
Right.
2
To
stars away.
support you? Well, nope.
Modules. Well, there's a 15% markup on my fleet carrier because I need
It's
to make
literally
money.
gonna be
Yeah,
a
I've
floating
only got 5.
anti-Shinrarta.
I told you, I call this. It's a space Patreon. If you found this fleet carrier supportful, please consider donating.
You did?
Is that going to be at the end of every one of our videos?
Just quickly, guys. Just quickly, let me introduce Minnie. I just brought Minnie into the
Hey, Minnie.
chat and set him. So welcome, Minnie.
Not Minnie.
I'll be nice. I'll be good. Don't be good.
No. I don't want to let if there's if other guys are dropping in. So I do want to keep this maybe limited to the group we've got now. But Yamiks pinged me and said, "Hey, Minnie's in chat," so I figured I'd let you chime in with us too. I wanted to get back to jumping to specific locations because it did like the screen they showed us with the system map, right? I wish they'd have shown us plotting a jump, right? But it did seem like from that map and where the icon was that we will be able to pick, where in the system. Of course, the big question is, and I saw this in my chat too earlier, does that negate the 6.2 million light second flight to Hutton?
Hutton, you see, is a position within that system away from any body. You were this. Well, they specifically mentioned that you will be able to position your fleet carrier around a specific object that is the planetary celestial object, not another station or whatnot else.
So basically,
you have a planet.
So
there's no star out at Hutton.
There is.
Well,
there's Proxima Centauri, and then there's the planet Eden, which orbits Proxima Centauri, and Hutton Orbital orbits Eden.
Okay, so you can jump to that star. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Right.
So that's a great little racket someone could set up, the Hutton run. So get all the people who have to do the missions to Hutton, hop on the fleet carrier, flip it over.
Perfect.
So that's and I got to admit, that's where some of this is starting to excite me because look, we just thought of some potentially interesting gameplay there, right?
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
You're actually expecting Frontier servers to be able to handle people docking on a carrier and then jumping in the first place.
That's
the biggest.
That's for another day.
I didn't even think about this. Yeah.
one thing at a time. One thing at a time.
I got a question. Another question. Yeah. Sorry, I'm dominating the questions. Right. So you can have a shipyard. And you can buy ships for sale. You can have a limited number of them. But they said that you can also part exchange your ships, just like you can in a station. Does that mean that the ship that you're in then becomes available for like a second-hand purchase on your fleet carrier?
I don't think so.
If someone if someone figures this out, I will legit open Minnie's ship emporium on a fleet carrier so people can come buy copies of my ships.
No, you ain't gonna be able to sell any engineered stuff, obviously. It's gonna be the basic stuff that you buy in any other station, obviously, for balancing reasons.
And as far as engineering, they didn't specifically answer this question, but I'm pretty sure it's what the icon you see in the bottom right-hand corner of this menu is it going to have remote workshop? And it seemed like the engineering icon was down there in the bottom right. And I think the answer to that is yes. I mean, every station that's ever had outfitting has always had a remote workshop, so it would make sense, right? So let's see. Jumping along, we saw the weekly upkeep for the upkeep at 10 million base. I actually think that's reasonable. I don't think that's too terrible. I mean, again, we're talking about this being something very late game content. And if this is something you're going to do, again, you're talking 500 million a year. You can make that in 5 or 6 hours mining right now.
Let me contest that for a second and say,
sure.
If I buy my Anaconda or a new Anaconda and I, kind of build it out halfway and go fly it out to the middle of nowhere and log out of the game, and then come back a year later, I still have my Anaconda.
Yeah, basically, Frontier is wanting us to not read all the term and conditions of a mobile service contract for a cell phone with fleet carriers.
It's mandatory play. Mandatory.
No, the thing is, see, let me just shatter you, or at least for those in chats and so on and so forth, from this delusion sometimes that people have about, not separating the game from the actual idea, the game design idea. See, when it comes down to it, the upkeep is literally there just for one reason and one reason only, so that you return at least weekly and do things on Elite Dangerous, so that they can show inflated values to their shareholders and stakeholders. That's the reason primarily why many things in Elite Dangerous are done. They tried it with power play to have, especially a penalizing system. Every week you lose half of your merits, and that was disgusting. And now they are trying to do the same thing with fleet carriers, but in a more, I suppose, manageable way. And it's the problem is that, do we really need something constantly nagging at our heads, just suggesting you need to play, you need to play, you need to play? I'd much rather have a game that invites me to play, like, let's say, Warframe, a free-to-play game that invites me with bonuses every week and so on and so forth, rather than potentially threatening you. Oh, wouldn't it be a shame if your wonderful ship just disappeared one day? You better come back.
Hold on. Let's clarify
I
the way
agree
that
with
works.
him
The way that
completely.
Well, hold on. And I'm not necessarily arguing that, but it seemed to me the way the mechanic would work is, as your fleet carrier, like, essentially, goes into debt, or you don't have the money to upkeep it, it's not like you're going to lose your ships and shit that are on it. You just can't do anything with it until you've paid that upkeep. Now,
they didn't
go into, they didn't go into, like, kind of in my video joking, like, do you go into debt, right? They didn't cover that. It kind of seemed like maybe you did. Again, got to see, but it didn't. But it didn't say that. It's not like all of a sudden my ships are going to disappear, right?
They said you can take them off even if it shuts down.
Right, exactly, right. So it's not like you're going to lose anything.
The thing is, I expect them fully to have this simple mechanic, right? They did mention, that ships will go into decommission state if your debt is too large. They did tweet that out afterwards, after all. So we know that it will enter a decommissioning state at one point. The question is, what was that point? And they didn't reveal that, obviously.
Right.
I would guess some point. But regardless, it is still a point that will come in time. Obviously, not all of us like to play games as your second fucking job that Elite seems to be wanting us all to have right now. But regardless of
we
that,
all do, but
Well, and that's why, honestly, part of my response to that, and by the way, I'm not trying to defend it necessarily, but these aren't for everybody, right?
No, they're not for everyone. That is for people who are dedicated enough to be or have Elite as your second job.
But wait a minute,
that is the people that they want to.
Well, but I think there's the notion of, we'll have to see again how this plays out, of being able to get your carrier in a common place, or having a carrier where you tell your squadron about it, right? And everybody's doing things, and they're refueling there, and they're selling stuff there, or whatever it might be. And
what
it's
is that $5 billion for?
Itself up, right? Well, there's the buy it price, right? But we're talking about the upkeep.
That already is a great big
chance
gate.
to run it like a business now.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
that's exactly what I'm getting at.
There's one thing. It's one thing to ask your player base to build your world for you and contribute to it. That's fine.
Sure.
What he's saying, though, is that there's no incentive to keep it going. There's only the stick that if you don't keep it going, it destroys the world for you and everyone else.
I mean, I guess I get that. I mean, I get where. Let's put it this way. I get where you're going. For me personally, this doesn't feel like a big issue to me. To me personally,
CGS, you're coming from a place of privilege.
That's because of how much I play, right? Exactly. I'm giving you that, right? That's where I go back to. I don't think this is for everybody. And now again, let me be clear. I'm not saying that I like it the way it is. I think it would be better if it didn't have the level of upkeep cost it gets. So don't misunderstand me. Right, I think that it's limiting it more than it needs to. I guess I would put it that way. If that makes sense.
I have a thought.
Yeah, please.
I think that the coronavirus has gotten severe enough that Frontier is like, hey, people are actually staying home and they want to maybe play Elite Dangerous.
That's
so
disgusting.
Maybe if we added some content, we'd bolster our numbers for the next cycle, so we look good. That's my thought.
Oh God,
that is a bit. Oof.
It's goof, but then again, think about what Frontier's done in the past and be like, you know what? I don't think I'll run that past them. That sounds like something they would do.
Oh, let's bring it back to the point that was initially about
the purpose of the fleet carrier for each of our respective communities. What do we see that we can get out of this for our community? Because otherwise, why are we?
Player market is probably the only thing that I really like.
Okay, player market. Anyone else?
Oh, outfitting, right? That too.
Yeah, having that. And I'll also add, like, you know, this whole thing about having to log in and play and do something. EVE Online did that years ago. You had to stay on top of your skills, otherwise you're losing valuable time. So it was a hook to keep you in the game.
But that
It's
was
a beating stick, not a hook, my friend.
I know it wasn't like something you were losing over time, but it was. You felt like you were losing progress, the ability to progress, if you didn't log in and re-up your skills each time.
Yeah, but that literally made it because you couldn't fly new ships or use certain type of guns if you didn't have the right skills, and if you didn't do that,
Yeah,
then
I'm
you
just
had
saying
to wait
it's
even
an
longer.
equivalent
So
kind of hook.
that was part of the core gameplay when the game launched.
No, they actually use a different hook in EVE. They use a different hook in EVE. They'll send out little flyers or emails saying, "Hey, look, it's a special week." Well, they're doing one right now. It's a special week, you know, go out and do this and you can get this bonus and that bonus, and they're all positive things. They're all carrots, not sticks.
I had trillions of ISK when I left. I'm not going back to EVE.
Well, then you won.
Oh god, you won your life back. Congratulations.
Don't worry, you can't have my stuff. I already gave it away.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring us back. I'm gonna bring us back a bit because we don't want. I'm gonna say like we don't want this stream to go on for 5 more hours. So let me jump. Let me bring us
What
back
about the
to it,
viewers?
right?
What do the viewers think?
Well, I'll admit I haven't. It's been really, really difficult to watch chat. It's just streaming by so quickly. I'm trying to watch live stream here, so and again, forgive us, chat. I'm not trying to ignore you guys. I'm trying to see what I can. It's just like with the discussion, it's
between
too
us,
hard to focus
there's
on two things.
two something thousand people watching. So
Yeah,
hello,
I had about
folks.
1,000 on mine, and I'm at 950 right now, and I don't know, several on pretty
I'm
much
near
on Twitch. But anyway,
1,000, so, yeah.
okay. And well, again, thanks for stopping by, everybody, as we kind of talk through and deconstruct, or
Indeed.
go through, deconstruct all this. Tariffs. So we've talked about that, I guess, in a roundabout way. I think that's pretty cool. The fact that we can add tariffs to basically everything, modules, ships, market stuff, right? I like the way that they've done it. Back to the debate Pilot and I had a while back about player-to-player trading. I like that it's in such a way that you can really boost another player, but you can bring in profits for yourself while offering services in different parts of the galaxy. That seems pretty interesting. There's something big just hit me that they didn't talk about, and it certainly wasn't on any of the screens. There's no mission board.
True.
So there's no
BGS. Does it need it?
Well, for BG, I was hoping it potentially would have one.
Oh, BGS.
guys,
those
right?
special folks. Okay,
Yeah. So you could jump in, and I'm not surprised I called that one that it wouldn't have a mission board because otherwise you'd be able to jump it into a system that had shitty stations and stuff, which adds shit to BGS, but adds stuff, and this would negate that. So I'm not surprised they didn't put a mission board on it. But we have
anyone note if they had a cartographics?
That's another one I didn't notice. I called that they wouldn't have one.
No, I didn't see
Because
one.
if you're out in the black selling your
absolutely.
So they did say, and they specified that it will not be affecting the BGS, and people did ask about the cartographs and
cartographics.
No, so you won't be able to sell data either. It's only at stations. So yeah, they've kind of. I think they've done a good job at blocking carriers from affecting the BGS in any way.
Yeah, and that's probably good. I mean, we'll say BGS. Well, let's not even get into that today. It's way too much.
Originally, I thought the carrier is going to be only used by BGS folk and so on and so forth. So I was like, whatever. So it's kind of interesting.
The trading space could be a way to keep your carrier going. It doesn't matter who it influences because you're out in deep space.
Right.
If they made it so that selling data in a fleet carrier just sold it straight to the Pilots Federation and bypassed any of the factions. So if they did it that way, then it could be fine. So
I agree.
Then explore
I'm
and sell the data.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't think it was going to, but I'm surprised it did not have that, right? No swimming pools, by the way. I noticed that. Pilot, you were about to chime in with something.
Any pubs?
Are you guys going to buy one?
Oh, absolutely.
For a review, yes. Otherwise, I'll lose that money. Also, there will be money lost when you sell or decommission the fucking thing. So,
I know that.
Be prepared for 500 or more. Actually, a loss
I'm
of
guessing
credits.
it's 10%. Yeah, I'm guessing it's 10%, just like ships are.
More than that, I think it was.
No, it looked like a lot more. It was 430. Yeah.
I was
I'm
probably
contemplating as
50.
to how many of these carriers my player groups should keep up.
That's an
because it's a
issue
community
too.
effort.
I think squadrons should get together and talk about who in the squadron is going to own one. I think it's going to, I'll admit, I have an alt account that I'm setting up for our squadron, for the squadron's fleet carrier. So I think you're right, Gluttony, that groups working together more on this. And I think the way the tariffs and stuff work, so that the squadron is doing stuff for the carrier, it's making money. You can decide what that tariff is. You can decide how much your squadron is actually contributing, right? And how quickly that can happen, that kind of stuff. I think that is, the way that most groups, are gonna be able to manage these things, right?
Yeah, it's definitely an ongoing conversation that I think
yeah.
each player group has to have with their members and whatnot. Oh,
You
just
can
a
only
odd,
sell here.
just
I mean,
a
you're,
odd random question.
yeah, go ahead.
Out in the blue, do you think signal sources would spawn around the carriers as they do like around stations and whatnot, or do you think they will get?
No, I'm guessing it won't have any impact on that kind of those mechanics. I am happy that there's no new materials involved, right? Tritium for the jumping, but there's no grinding for mats for any kind of anything.
There's still grinding. There's way more grinding than ever before.
Saying,
Fuck me.
Right, but the I'm glad there's not more than that, right? Pilot, I see what you're talking about. Who is that's showing up that way?
They're gone.
Sorry. We got a little bit of a thing. No, somebody else is showing up that way. Lieutenant Naga, something like that. Hold on. Let me see if I can
next
fix
topic. Who wants to? Well,
let me jump through. Yeah. So let's see. We've talked about some player trading, that there's 25,000 slots available. It seemed like you hired crew for that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at
that.
that
Crew was
right?
very cheap. Yes,
what's the point of hiring new crew? Will they have a competency level?
Right, that's something Exegius and I caught when they were going past that. Like, is one crew better than the other? Is there a reason to retain permanently a crew or anything like that?
Yeah, just one's really bad at selling stuff. Oh, come on, man.
Work on your marketing skills.
You have to do performance reviews for them and stuff like that while you're out in the black.
Now, Billy, this week you didn't bring in...
You need to do your TPS reports.
So yeah, Billy, we're kind of letting you go now. Exit through the airlock, please.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna let you go out the airlock into the sun.
Trap door opens, he floats.
I don't know. Your performance just isn't meeting the metrics, man. You got to beat the metrics.
If you're lucky, we might have a decent mission Sidewinder floating around.
We need to meet quarterly.
Way over to that to get the fuck out of here.
So I thought it was interesting. We saw about the shipyard and outfitting, that you're going to choose what is there. It seemed like potentially, given you've got 25,000 slots, that you'd be able to essentially have one of every type of module. What they didn't make clear was, like, if it's a class 8 or class 5 frameshift drives, is that all types?
They did say
through
tiers. They did
right.
say tiers,
they never clarified.
Yeah. Is it like literally a bundle that you have to buy, and then you basically have useless crap that no one buys, and you basically pay for it? Is that the case? If that's the case, then
that
it's
sucks.
another fucking credit.
Well, here's the thing. Let's say you say, I want class 5 frameshift drives. Does that mean that it takes 5 slots? Right, because you got to have A.
Or do I need to buy 10 other useless modules that no one's gonna buy and increase the price of it? Thanks.
Right. So we got to see how that works.
I can't understand for the life of me why you would institute a system where someone can go buy a ship from you specifically, and then completely screw over the AX people who would be the only ones who would be using that.
You mean for AX modules? You're saying?
Yeah.
The only reason I can think, and I'm not defending this, but the only reason I can think is because those are unlockable modules. But why wouldn't it just show them if you've unlocked them, you can buy them?
No, there are already. Everyone has, the AX.
Well, you mean the multi-cannons and missiles? Sure.
Well,
okay, sure.
I meant Guardian stuff, but yeah, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, no, I thought you meant but it doesn't matter, right? Either way, I agree. I that's very short-sighted, right?
Like, I have no other reason. Guys, like, if I'm on my way to Sagittarius, I have no need to stop and buy a Type 7 from anyone. Why?
Oh well, yeah.
So then
in that fleet carrier, you wouldn't have a Type 7 for sale, right?
Well, you know what I'm saying.
The amount of crosstalk we're getting is a little on the high side. If we can tone it down,
I agree, Minnie. Let's see. We talked about the settings. Interesting that you can keep people if they have notoriety from not docking.
I mean, that's just like normal station anyway, so...
Yeah.
Can you make it so
Normal.
that only people with notoriety can dock?
That's...
Oh,
I don't
you have
think
to
I
be
saw it that
very
way.
dangerous.
You're not.
You have to be. Yeah.
Go kill a
one
noob
thing,
now.
one thing I missed because I was interacting with chat at the time is what did I miss anything about the redemption office, or is that essentially just interstellar factor?
It's just an interstellar
It's
factor.
interstellar factor, but I'm not
Okay,
sure if you can pay off your bounty. It just said you can get your claims, but that's about it.
Okay. Outfitting, we've talked about that. They didn't tell us how many modules we'd be able to store, if any additional. I know for some of us, like I'm very much hoping they'll raise the 120 limit. It would be so amazing if we could say of that 25,000 slots that those could be for module storage. Like some of us that have multiple ships we use for storage, just because of it gets so ridiculous trying to do all that.
Yeah, the
with
fact that
limit
you
of
can
120.
actually have infinite amount, as long as there are enough stations in the world or galaxy in Elite Dangerous, you can have infinite amount of ships that can store, their representative modules and whatnot else on them, 40 ships per station, and yet you have one global module storage.
Right.
You have infinite amount of ships, and yet that limited amount of storage, stored modules, because that'd be smart. Herpa-derp.
Yeah, agree. That's always, especially back when it was 60, right? Why this random number of one? Yeah, we could go down that path forever. Market, obviously, the ability to store commodities, big one, right? Guys like EIC are going to be eating that up, being able to, are we going to be able to store rares? Yeah, are we going to be able to store rares?
Rares. I was thinking about that. East India Trading
Yes,
Company.
you can. It was on the...
Well, you saw specifically rares listed, Pilot?
Yeah. There's a little star icon that says rare items you could list.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Well, that'd be good.
That's potentially
Someone
huge.
please fill an entire fleet carrier with nothing but Thargoid probes.
That'd be interesting. Absolutely.
It would help me film stuff, yeah.
That would be amazing, actually, Minnie. Right?
The first person who goes and sits next to an engineer with all those unlocked materials and
Oh,
puts a
they will
buy
be
order out.
golden.
Yep.
Oh, that's and then you sell them at a huge markup. Oh, yeah. That would be great. Absolutely. I did
see with all the
say that again. One of you guys, go Pilot.
This is going to be first come, first serve. Whoever gets that carrier first, plants it there, you're good.
Oh, then it'll be race to the bottom when it,
again, you can plant it
for
anyways. Though the question is how close to this system. Again, those will be probably randomly generated distances and places.
And also, how many carriers can
Pray
you
to
plant?
Jesus.
How many carriers can you plant around a specific body? Like, how many is too many?
I
One
would
per
guess it's
instant.
unlimited.
It's one per instant.
per instant. Yeah, per instance.
Yep.
But in other words, you could have multiple instances.
Exactly.
So I think, Gluttony, you could have 1,000 ships around a body, and when you drop into that, it's just you're only seeing your ship, right? It's not like they have to
Space
all
is
be
vast, and those ships are small still.
Exactly. Right. Advanced maintenance. I did think that new screen looked a lot nicer, right? The repair, buying limpets, little but looked nice. It also is really nice that it seems that we can do most of this carrier management from our ships remotely. I've got the big one that I had a question about there is transferring credits. Are we going to be able to do that remotely and not have to be landed there? I sure the fuck would assume so from the way they said that, right? That you wouldn't have to actually just go to it to do basic stuff like that.
Never assume anything positive from Frontier.
I agree. We talked about the jumping animation. That was great. The betas, first beta is April 2nd, so that's in 5 days.
Week.
Are you going to have to grind in the beta?
Yeah, that's
the
next
big
thing.
question. The way he said it, when he said, basically he said something about don't worry, my strong impression was no. Right? That
I'm
going to be able to just get them. Right?
I'm going to get all my
from
footage that day then.
Well, if you look at it from their perspective, right? I think they want everybody to have them for free because they want to entice everybody by getting to play with them. And so now you go back to production. Oh, well, damn, that was fun while I had it in beta. Now I've got to grind it out. To Yamiks' point, grind it out in game and, spend
again, you're putting way too much logic to it.
I am.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another logic one then. I mean, realistically, what we know about Frontier, how how easy for them would be just to not do anything and do what they do with betas always. Just transfer your week-old data from your character that you have right now onto the beta template, right? And you basically play your week-old or week before account with that amount of money. So basically, if you don't have 5 billion now, probably you're gonna have to grind through the beta. That's my assumption, of course.
I see. Yeah, I'm gonna go the other way and think that they won't do it that way. And actually,
I mean, that would be a proper way to test it. But hey, you know,
I agree.
whatever.
Well, again, you're right. You're right in that regard. And just to clarify something YamiKs just said, for those that are new to the way the betas work, historically they've always taken a snapshot of production, say a week ago, 5 days ago, maybe today. Yeah, was it the previous tick? Okay. So probably this last tick we just passed, maybe a week ago. Well, it was a tick this morning, so it was either this morning or a week ago tick. And that's what you will, when you log into beta, whatever you had then is what you're going to have. And beta is not persistent. So whatever you do in beta, you do have to grind this out. Yeah, it is not.
What happens in beta stays in beta.
Yeah, there was also the fact that if you cleared your save within beta, you were given 300 million in your accounts rather than, you know, whatever starting thing when you get your save cleared normally. So that was sort of the workaround. But the problem here with the many betas since engineers were introduced, as a matter of fact, was that yeah, you get the credits, sure, but where are them? Literally every single material that would allow us to test engineering on top of that. Because yeah, credits is one thing, but what about the other side of the end game grind, the materials? And yeah, knowing that developers don't really, you know, give you materials when you reset your account for beta just to get that extra stuff. Yeah, it's they have selective testing focus and they don't seem to be interested in any other sort of a thing, but who knows, maybe this will be different.
Yeah, and I'm going to jump to something that I'm not surprised about. I don't necessarily think it's a big deal, and I called it. Not in the way they did it, but I definitely want to hear YamiKs rant about it. Skins and arcs and liveries.
Oh no.
I have no problem with that at all.
I'm with you, Scorb. I have no problem. I'm not going to engage in it, but I have no problem with it.
YamiKs,
let us have it, buddy. No, let us have it, man. I know you're going to get into it.
So essentially, we are playing currently a premium game, a game that you pay for. Yes, it is on the sale, by the way, today, right now, for next couple of days, what until.
We all have referral links.
Actually, yeah, just quickly, until tomorrow. It's on sale till tomorrow on Steam for $50.
I don't have my referral anymore, so fuck that. Rakuten.
Actually, I don't have one either. I don't have that. But hey, go use Pilot's referral. You're going to buy it?
Regardless, the point is, this is a paid game, and developers are putting in more microtransactions, basically just trying to milk the community as much as they can from, well, relatively speaking, as much as they can, from whatever purchases they can. Obviously, they didn't stop at the microtransactions alone. Now they're obscuring the fucking value with ARX points and doing the... Again, I've talked about this time and time again, but basically the monopoly money that they are using for a multitude of reasons, and one of them is obviously to confuse the people of, how much you spend and so on and so forth. So you have to do the mental gymnastics constantly whenever you are trying to buy something or want to buy something, which is annoying as hell and disgusting to see in a game like this. It's not like they're starving for fucking money in the first place, but hey, I guess we might as well just go and just plop on some more crap and just let the people buy shit, because why not?
People should stop learning from EA.
Well, let me go through kind of everybody and get everybody's take. Scorb?
I think I've bought this game twice, and I've got 5,000 hours in it, and I don't mind.
I'm going to say I'm kind of with you, Scorb. I've bought this. I think I've bought the game twice.
I've got it 3 times, sorry. But twice when it was on sale, so I paid maybe £60 for this game.
Yeah, I think I'm all in. I've spent $120 on it. I've got almost 7,000 hours. I don't really buy. I buy the Black Friday skins. That's pretty much it. To me, it's all totally optional. If you want to buy it, great. If you don't want to buy it, great. I know some commanders really love that kind of shit and really want to personalize it. I don't have a big issue with it. Gluttony?
as a lifetime pass owner. Oof.
I feel your pain, buddy.
It's getting off on the wrong foot already.
Yeah. Okay.
I really wish like they gave us something, just something for us lifetime pass owners at the very
That's a
least.
very good point.
But no, I have a feeling they're going to charge us for any kind of
Oh, I
customization
don't.
anyway.
Oh well, well, the big update at the end of the year. I don't think you're going to get charged for that, obviously.
Hopefully. But
I'd
how do
be
I put it?
furious if you did.
Customization. The whole concept is preying on the fact that we as individuals want to stand out with things that make us stand out, like cosmetics. So fine, whatever. But just the way they're doing it. Yeah, we wish they would give us some freebies, but oh well.
Minnie?
I like the original idea for fleet carriers because I thought we'd actually be able to do more stuff with them, but it sounds like it's...
Well, specifically cosmetics. We'll sum up here in a second.
Cosmetics.
Specifically cosmetics, yeah. Arcs and
Oh,
such.
I have spent a lot of money of cosmetic. I think I've bought the game twice and probably dipped another 200, 300 plus into cosmetics for Elite.
So do you think the fact that there's cosmetics for the carrier is good or bad in your book?
I'm relatively neutral about it. I mean, if there's something cool and they do something in Elite to bring me back, then I'll be like, all right, cool, I'll probably get it. But I'm not seeing much to bring me back to the game now. That's where I'm at.
Fair enough. Pilot, thoughts on cosmetics, and then we'll just about wrap up here.
Hell no.
Okay. Again, fair. Let's see. Going through the rest of it, we saw the jumping animation. I thought that was fucking great. It was what we expected, just like capital class ships. If you've never seen a capital ship warp in, it's pretty fucking epic.
Will we see these warp in?
I don't think so, because the instance is going to be started by it arriving. So I don't think there's going to be any way for you to see it arrive. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like that would be by assumption.
I mean, they have the animation. Might as well do it for
yeah,
the
but
first,
where?
couple
How
of
would
folks
you
that
know what
arrive.
instance to be in where it arrives? I think that's the
maybe
issue.
there will be for the first person who jumps in on it.
Maybe. And you can jump to that person. Maybe I don't. My gut says no, but sure.
Yeah, mine too.
But I got to admit, and once again, I think they in traditional Elite fashion absolutely nailed the audio. Right? I thought the sound effects.
The audio is great.
Was awesome.
It was through a stream.
Charging up.
It's hard to say.
It was a little long. It was a little long.
It's a
I'll
little
give you
extensive.
That. Right. And we talked about the betas already. First beta next Tuesday. Historically they've taken it down at the tick, so 7 a.m. UTC, and then they bring it back up. Probably I'm guessing this is going to be a pretty big one. It'd be up mid-afternoon UTC time, something like that. Those of us in on EST and in America, it'll probably be probably early day for us. And yeah, I think the questions that I wrote down, and I think then we'll just, we'll kind of wrap up with everybody's final thoughts. We don't know about stored modules. We don't know necessarily. It seems like maybe if we can store the tritium to jump a bunch once we're up. They never answered the cooldown question for jumping, did they?
Oh yeah, right. They didn't say how many
Never
times
covered
you can
that.
jump or how soon you can.
We should
I was
probably
worried
hit
at
forums
first.
and
That
ask
little,
these
yeah, and if
questions on them.
anybody's, fair enough. If anybody's seen that answer anywhere, Pasto, I know you were watching the forums and stuff. Throw it in real quick.
One of my guys says 1 hour. So I don't know.
Wait, say that
where
again?
that's from. One of my guys says 1 hour, but I don't know where that data's from.
Okay, is that, okay, hold on. Somebody in my chat is saying this, they said it takes 1 hour after cooldown, then another hour, and then another hour to charge. I wonder what that means.
Okay, so 1 hour to prep, 1 hour to cool down. Oh, they said it in the stream. Oh, okay, August. Thanks.
Oh, I guess we missed it then. Okay, all right. Wow.
So does that basically mean a jump every 2 hours or what?
What it sounds like. That's wow. Okay, and a lot of people in chat are saying 1 hour cooldown, 1 hour spin up. I didn't look through Virtual Bingo. We can do that right here after we wrap up. And why don't we do that? Why don't we go through each of us and just kind of share your final thoughts? What you think, Scorb?
Overall, I'm
it's
excited
1 hour,
by
by the
it.
way.
It's it's going to be a great film set. There's some great stuff coming where we can actually, because I'm about storytelling. I think that they are not doing a service to people who are out in deep space, and I think that needs to be looked at. This is a beta. We're doing a beta. They're going to find problems. They're going to make changes. So this is where we're going to bring it to their attention. They've missed a bit. They always miss a bit. Last time they missed a bit, it was that they wanted you to synthesize exploration probes. Now they're infinite. They do make, they do listen. They do make changes. So if you've got any questions, there's a lot of us. We all play differently. I'd say tell Frontier and let's see what they do. But I'm optimistically excited.
Gluttony.
Okay, so the positives here, well, rather, as an overview of the carrier's arrival, I think it's a net positive for the community since it does cater to some portion of player agency that quite a lot of us are hoping for. The idea that we can actually create our own market and manage economy in that sense, create profit from an individual or a community standpoint. It gives players more of a belonging as a community, as a community project. Fleet Carrier can be seen as. Obviously, the more negative part is from an AX standpoint, from a Thargoid standpoint. I wish we could have experimental modules on board that we can help supply people and really run our ops more efficiently that way. But we want to have an ongoing conversation with FD to see if they can maybe give us some leeway, but obviously that's
hopefully
something
they
we'll
listen.
work on. We'll work on
hopefully
our
they-
end for the community. But so for us, we see this as a net positive for contribution to the game, and we're looking forward to what it brings to us as a asset.
Minnie, if you want to chime in, since you came late to the party.
Minnie's dead, yo.
All right.
I
I'm gonna
installed.
jump. Oh, there you
I'm
go.
still here. I was muted. I installed Elite to check the FPS values on my new PC, and that's about all I've done so far. And I'm
okay. Okay. Then I'll jump to the pilot.
I'm kind of sad. I like I said, I got everything. Well, most everything that I thought would be there, but I got no interest in it. I really
Same,
don't.
dude. Same.
Okay. Yamiks.
Sorry.
Oh,
How long do you want this
We're
one?
doing this. About the same length everybody else had.
I've been excited to hear your response.
Give us a couple minutes. Don't give us the 20-minute diatribe. Give us a couple.
Lay it on us short and sweet, Yamiks.
I'm gonna go last,
All right,
Yamiks.
Minnie. It's gonna be
My
great.
chat is sad. Your chat. My chat is sad. You're sad, pilot. It's sad that you're sad.
Yeah. Right.
I'm
so,
sorry, guys. I'll cheer up eventually.
Right. When we look at the gameplay design, or rather why these things were first of all placed in the game, well, you're starting to question many things. Starting with the history, obviously, with them. I mean, we were there in Frontier Expo with the Scorpius when they announced it, right? I remember that quite well, as a matter of fact. And yeah, they didn't even show a single snapshot of fleet carriers, and at that time in 2017. October 7th, when they announced it. It really felt like they basically just put that announcement, we're gonna put in fleet carriers. What do? What they look like? No one knows, because the person who announced it was basically like, okay, we literally have a week until this, Frontier Expo. We need to put in something else aside from squadrons and whatever else we announced there. Mega ships. Everyone's gonna get mega ships. Yes, there we go. And ever since then, for the last 2 years, they've been, I don't know, scrambling to think of what this malformed idea could be. And it definitely has come out better than I thought. Now, obviously, it's not all good. And when you look at its actual purpose in the game, what it is meant to do, and not from our standpoint. There could be, outfitting and so on and so forth. Yeah, it can help here and there. But realistically speaking, from the general meta level, right? When you think about what it actually does to players, their psychology and so on and so forth, it's a beating stick to keep you playing and a massive money sink. Now, obviously, there are money sinks. Qatar is a great example, and engineering, and not engineering, but basically the big ships are great money sinks to sort of keep you playing, or sort of strive for something so that you grind and play the game some more. But now, instead of actually having an incentive, to get a big ship, you essentially have, on top of that big ship, in that carrot, you see that big carrot, then you have a massive spiked dildo bat being swung at you every week, mentally trying to get you back in the game to keep playing it, or rather to force you play it, because, well, that is mental manipulation, in my opinion, if you don't.
I play games to de-stress, not to have a second job after the job that I'm getting away from to play video games for.
Exactly.
And Mini is right there. And the thing is, Frontier, at least their PR or generally speaking, their mouthpieces who we've seen on the public media and so on and so forth, they've essentially used these phrases or turns of phrases in such a way that it feels that they don't even feel, or that they are disconnected from general community, that they don't understand how players play the game, and they think that this is our second job. It is meant to be our second job, and now, with all this, we have an incentive, and later on, a massive stick to beat you with, to force you to play. And that is mental manipulation, and I hate that when games do that. Put in a reward system rather than a penalizing system. So in that in that sense, I hate it.
Well, okay, and so I think the way that my counter to that in a way, YamiKs, is that I'm going to keep stressing that these aren't for everyone, right? And I think that I think you're not wrong about a lot of that, right? And I think that for me, when I think about how am I going to use this thing, right? Like, why do I want one? Because I'll admit, I'm pretty stoked on this. Minnie, I'm getting some echo from you, buddy. I'll admit I'm pretty stoked about this, right? I probably, from the comments I've heard so far, I might be the most looking forward to it of anybody to hear. Because when I think about, okay, what am I going to use this for? What's my primary reason to have it? And it was kind of like I started with us early. If it could do this one thing, I'd be happy. And that one thing is the ability to move. And it seemed like while there's 16 pads, it certainly didn't seem like there was a limit of just 16 ships. Being able to move a group of all of my ships, and even if it's not all, 16 is plenty, 16 ships to anywhere I want right then. Now, the 2-hour cooldown thing, I do have some issues with that, to be honest with you. We'll have to see how a lot of this plays out and how we actually use it, right? But being able to say, hey, everybody, we're going to go do this. Like, oh, the guys are up in Shinrarta doing PvP, or in Santu, let's say. Great, I can have all my PvP ships up at Santu in a moment's notice, right? Hey, let's all go down to Pleiades and do Thargoid hunting, right? I can, bam, have them all down there at a moment's notice, right? On top of saying, hey, squadron, here's how we're going to do stuff. And if you need a ship, I've got it here set up for you, right? So to me, the comments about it being a second job, well, yeah, but it is a second job you're deciding to undertake. And I do kind of feel a little bit of, well, if this is absolutely not for everybody, right? I don't think it is. I don't know that it even should be. Maybe that's me being a little short-sighted and having a little bit different perspective because of where I am in the game, right? I love that we potentially could populate the galaxy with them. I do have questions about Scorbius's point about having to use third-party tools to, for us to be able to find each other, right? I certainly agree there. We have to see what the market and the tariffs and stuff really work out to be. Can these things really pay for themselves, right? I think that this is something more. I kind of guess I wish there was a little more squadron specific stuff in the bank account specifically, right? Like because I view this as something that a team wants to work together for, and a group wants to work together for, and that all of those guys would get together and say, hey, and by the way, our squadron, I'm grinding us out one, right? So hey, everybody jump on the squadron of carrier, and tonight we're all going to go do X, and we all jump to that place in it, right? Cool. I see them more as a mobile thing where I'm going to be moving it around a lot versus just something I'm going to park somewhere and that's where it is.
Well, right? Yeah, you're right. But here's the thing is that the benefits that this thing gives you are not any different than if you didn't own the carrier at all. If you're attached to someone who does, then you get the same exact benefits.
Oh, sure. And agreed, right? And that's why I say I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's for every group. To me, right? Yes. So that again, that group can move their ships around. And some of us that are late game players and have a fuck ton of ships, right? And want to be able to move those to all at once, right? I think that's great too, right? So for me, that's where I'm looking forward to it. And all this other stuff is some cool gravy that can add some potentially cool new stuff, right? I mean, shit, I called that there wasn't going to be outfitting and that we weren't going to be able to have A-rated modules and stuff. And all of that looks to not be the case, right? And the fact that some of that is, for me personally, I'm pretty fucking, I mean, there's a lot that I like about this, right? I'm very curious to see what the beta's like. I bluntly can't wait to get my hands on them. And I hope, to Scorbius's point, that the issues that we do find, and so far the biggest one for me is the 2-hour jump, right? That is addressed in some way. Because I do think I saw one of my mods posted in chat that, you know, well, you're not meant to be able to get somewhere faster in this than you would in a, you know, an 80 light year Anaconda. And while I kind of agree with that, I also maybe don't know that I agree with that and think that that cooldown is too long, right? I almost, in the video, in my joke video, I almost said that cooldowns were going to be 1 hour. And then I thought, you know, I should probably up that to a day to make it ridiculous, because that could be right. And
honestly, I did expect a day. That
Yeah,
would
I
have
did
been
You
kind
did
of
expect a day?
expectable. Yeah, I kind of did.
It's a big
Not
old
I
thing.
thought it
necessarily again.
might-
It's got to cool down.
I thought it might happen that long, right?
I
I
But
thought they
an
might actually
hour-
go for a full week.
No, I didn't think it'd be
Wow.
that bad. I really didn't think
Every
it'd be that
tick.
bad, right?
I thought it would be every tick.
Well, guys, I think if it's okay with everybody, I mean, we can keep chatting in Discord. Obviously,
Yeah.
if you guys would like to come join us in Discord, please do. The mods on my channel, at least, have been posting the link. If you guys can toss it in one last time for me, that'd be great. Thanks to everybody, especially on, certainly on my stream, Yamiks's as well. Who else did we have streaming? Scorbius as well, right? Thanks very much for joining us. We had, you know, a bigger crowd, honestly, than I expected. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm sure that there's going to be lots of videos coming out from folks. I probably won't bother putting one out. I'll let, you know, Obsidian cover this.
You know me.
He's
I'm
probably
gonna do the hotcakes.
Oh, I know you are. I know you are. And I'm sure Obsidian's got a video out already. You know,
Plater
covering
does.
things.
So that's
Certainly,
funny.
well, or Plater, right? Certainly. Does he seriously?
He
Yeah,
is live streaming
already
right
out.
now.
Okay. I know Obsidian will have something out incredibly quickly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. See, that's what we get for spending an hour chatting about it afterwards. We missed that, you know.
It doesn't matter.
Why did you
FOMO
spend
can
the
go
entire
fuck
time
itself.
video editing?
Right, exactly. Right. So
who
well, again,
really does have a video out? What the hell?
you know, I don't think we did. I don't think we officially played Elite Bingo. We can take that offline unless you guys want to do it really quick.
I wasn't pressing any.
Yeah,
buttons.
I mean, I've got my.
Who won the
Yeah.
time on the renew? You know, on the downtime. You know, the answer is 2 hours, right? You know,
Yeah, I don't
personally,
think
said
any of us.
24 hours. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think any of us got that right. So again, thanks everyone for joining. This was a lot of fun. I know me at least. I'm sure you will, Yamiks. You know, Scorb, whoever. I will be live streaming it as soon as they go live on the beta goes live on Tuesday. I hope you'll come back by, and check that out. And we'll all share our thoughts about them, how they work and stuff. I'm sure I'll have a tutorial video out on a lot of it as quickly as I can. You know, so that you guys can either, you know, live virtually through it or not. With that, why don't we all say a quick sign off, Scorbius?
Right, take care, everybody. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you to everybody who's joined in, and I hope this was entertaining. I hope we've answered some questions for you. And so I'll catch you guys later on.
Yeah, Gluttony.
Okay, thank you for having me. It was certainly a very informative and I think productive session. We all voiced our opinions in terms of what we believe is positive and negative, and let's see what happens in the beta.
Yeah. Pilot.
I hate it. I mean, no, it's fine. I don't hate it. It's fine. It'll be fine. This is fine.
Yamiks.
If not for the beating stick or the razor-covered dildo bat, I'd be fine-ish.
Well, and I will say,
otherwise, I hate it.
I will say, I don't hate it. I'm pretty psyched. Thanks again for everybody who stopped by, and remember to fly dangerously. See you guys.
Take care.
Later.
Okay, mics are out. I'm out.
I'm doing my own thing.
I'm gonna jump to.
Okay, cool. Catch you later.
on.
Right. Well, now I got. I'm fully on for you, folks. And oh my. Well, right. So before I end the stream, I'm gonna do a couple of things. So first things first. Yeah. Right. Wanted to continue discussing with the Exegius, obviously, but you know, for courtesy's sake, you know, let's just end it there and what it else. But my 2 cents really on this one's just rather simple. You see, fleet carriers, first of all, they will cost a lot, so grinding for them is already a thing that basically majority ain't gonna be doing that. So it already excludes that portion of the people that Exegius claims as it's not for everyone. So really, why have a upkeep and why have that psychological, manipulative, disgusting attempt to just keep you playing after you've already ground the fuck out of the goddamn day after the goddamn game? It really is beyond me to answer that. Like, what is the logic there? You already have somebody who has ground their fucking life already away. You know, why not just give them that? Why have that penalizing fucking method on it? Let them just earn maybe a few credits here and there, you know, reduced profits you can get through it, but at least don't remove it afterwards. But no, I guess fuck it. Yeah, let's just have a beating stick to just keep those. Well, they're not whales, but just constant players. That's the issue I have with fleet carriers in general. Yeah, there are some decent, useful things. It doesn't seem that fleet carriers have any one specific focus, and it kind of feels aimless, really. But other than that, okay, there are some useful things that we'll see how, you know, community ends up using it. Because honestly, the commodity market, the player organized commodity market, is the probably more interesting thing for me to see in the long run. But just that beating stick, just why? Why not have something that is rewarding? For example, you know, you have some sort of a login reward like you, for example, right now have with ARX, right? That is more effective than a fucking beating stick. So, yeah. YamiKs, you're assuming you can't just have auto-deduct from your account, and fleet carriers isn't something you just buy on a whim and stop playing after blah, 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 sound like a gamer gal. Realistically, here's the thing, right? For example, right now, there are a couple of games that you know, I play from time to time and then stop playing, and then return after, let's say, an update has happened. Good example is No Man's Sky. Elite Dangerous as well, as a matter of fact. I started playing Elite Dangerous back in the day, then stopped, then picked it up again, then stopped, then picked it up again. This thing is that, yeah, sure, I'm making videos and I basically stay on top of Elite Dangerous news and so on and so forth as much as I can, right? The problem is that most of us, most of you probably ain't gonna be doing that constantly for as your second job, like literally, right? So not having that constant thought about, oh, look at that, basically all my accounts funds will be, oh wait, no, not all of accounts, because you get 85% back from your purchase, but regardless, you're gonna be losing cash hand over fist if you just don't engage with it. And really, games that use weekly bonuses are more interesting and more fun to return to than games that constantly punish you for not playing them. That's just psychological thing. That's just a fact. Both of those are psychological manipulations in some way. One of them actually works really well and people like it, and the other one is just dog shit garbage. That's the thing, you see. So, yeah. It's garbage. What can I say? Highly doubt we're going to be able to change the whole concept, or rather the main game loop for fleet carriers, even if we all go out right now, right, and say, devs, we don't like the weekly upkeep. At the very least, remove the baseline upkeep requirement. You know, the optionals, fine. If you really must, put in the optionals. If you don't pay up, you know, after, let's say, a year or two after not playing, right, and you return, you still have the fleet carrier. It's just that your, you know, repairs and whatnot else don't work. That's it. Why not do that? Why have that original upkeep? And again, when you actually dissect it as just a simple question, why do you need it? What is the reason? And when you exclude actually the stupid gameplay reasons, I mean the gameplay story reasons, like, oh, there's a crew that needs to be paid, because in reality, what crew? ones and zeros need paying. I mean, you need paying. You don't even, you know, survive through credits within the game. We're not generating new bitcoins, are we now? Or are we? So that's the thing. So when you ask these questions and actually sort of water them down as much as possible and get to the fucking bone of it. Yeah. Excuses and basically no answers are being given. And that is kind of a sad thing indeed. There are positives, yeah, sure, but generally speaking, as I said previously, I'm literally gonna be buying the fucking thing and immediately selling it once I make a video about it. Or, hey, if the bait allows me to just simply, you know, pick it up for free without, you know, my main account getting an impact, well, fuck it, I might not even bother to do it in, you know, normal stuff. Because realistically speaking, I can't be bothered to keep up with the fucking costs constantly. I don't want to. You know, I want to return to Elite Dangerous and think, it's so nice to go in space and look at these things and maybe pick up my ships and, you know, go do some silly stuff with them for entertainment of others or myself even, right? You know, that would be kind of nice. Rather than returning and seeing, oh, look, my big ship is removed, half of my account is gone. I get, you know, a refund for most of it, but most of it, and, you know, half of the money's gone, yeah. Yeah, I sure as hell love to reinstall Elite Dangerous right now, yes? That's the issue we're having, isn't it? So, yeah. Really, if they put aside the whole stupid upkeep cost, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting at the very least to see the long-term effects in the, you know, markets and the way people make money and how people make money. But due to the massive cost, over time you're gonna see less and less of the fleet carriers. Like, honestly, you're gonna see the absolute most hardcore players who just don't know any other game and or like Elite so much they're gonna continue playing it and supporting those megaships. Because if, let's say, Elite Dangerous ends up being as old as EVE Online, then, you know, how many people will actually still be running their day one fleet carriers? It'd be easier if, you know, again, we wouldn't need to pay fucking upkeep. What that 5 billion is for in the first place, right? So anyways, those would be the biggest gripes I really do have. There are extra information things and so on and so forth about fleet carriers that we can go into in the forum thing, but I do want to make a video for this evening, surprisingly, and yeah, so I guess that'll be the general gist of the video, I mean stream. So guys, if you enjoyed it and what else, of course I do say big thanks to Exigeous for inviting for this big event and all that stuff. So, you know, big shout out to him, Pilot, yeah, Scorpius, Gluttony Fang, and even Minnie, who came in later, and so on and so forth, and everyone else as well. Of course, you watching as well, because yeah, we can all have fun still, regardless, or just laugh at the stupid ideas together, even if we, you know, don't buy them, or at least the very least, I'll grind my fucking life away just to showcase you some funny, I don't know, clips someday. So yeah. Oh yeah, right, there were some generous folks throughout the stream, so I might as well acknowledge those generous souls. Starting with Killing Minion. Well, thank you for your contribution there at the very start of the stream, I think. Dead Star Omega, hey, nice to see you as well, so really appreciate your contribution there. Dark Arises, yes, hello, and yes, indeed, fleet carriers would, you know, but no, seriously, jokingly, yeah, or not non-seriously speaking, it'd be nice to have spoilers on the fleet carriers, because that'd be grand stupidity, you know, the top line. Gidbin, I guess, thanks for your contribution. Rustin as well, nice to see you as well, and I think I got all all the things. Oh wait, no, I got some bits as well on the Twitch side. So on the momento, did I got those?
He's a Yamiks.
Oh, really appreciate it for us to, let's see, what was it? The crew needs to be paid. It's about immersion. I, for one, like to play the game in the privilege goggles and experience the quote-unquote true space experience in Elite. I've spent many hours on the grind and have over 18 billion credits. And for me, 10 million plus credits is nothing. Alright. That is you, of course. See, not everyone comes from the place of such privilege, as in having ground your face against the rocks as much as you have or whatnot else. Even I, right? Somebody who has played for this whole time, have made so many videos, right? I can tell you, I don't really have that much cash myself. You know, my current assets are 5 billion total, true, but that's not free cash. My free cash is currently about 1.5 billion. But yeah, that includes all my ships, all the things. Of course, yeah, I've spent plenty on rebuys and all that stuff, but that's the thing. I'd much rather go and do PvP and fight and, you know, go fight Targoids or whatnot else, rather than spend all of that cash that I've accumulated in my 2,000 plus hours on one thing that, you know, will basically siphon cash out of me unless I constantly keep grinding the game. So yeah. But there you go. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the stream. For me right now, that would be about it. I need to go and start perhaps recording a video or what else. I'll see what's what. That aside, really, thanks for watching. Of course, do subscribe on YouTube, follow on the Twitch side, and all that wonderful stuff. There should be a link down below for the Discord if you want to join. Yeah, if you want to, you know, join the bunch of generous folks and whatnot else and support the work that I do, you know, making videos, streams, and all that stuff, there is the Patreon link as well, or like, you know, like the YouTube super chats or Streamlabs tips and whatnot else, and I really appreciate it. Toxic bullets, right? So for people who work 40 to 50 hours a week, carriers is mostly impossible. Yeah, and that is true. Most of us just simply play the game on and off, right? And fleet carriers are designed for absolute people who, you know, just have this game as your second job, basically. Or rather, what the developers think it should be. And that is kind of a disgusting thought. I mean, sure, 5 billion would be one thing, but the upkeep is the thing that kind of cements the whole, this has to be your second job, right? No, I'd much rather just enjoy the game. Oh well. Grind all day, I say. So take care, folks. And I'll see you for a stream tomorrow, probably. Yeah. Why not? Alright. Well, take care.